picturesque small town of Horn, 80 kilometers northeast of Vienna on the old romantic road to Prague, quite near the Czech border. Very different political atmosphere in this region these days, of course. Sunday morning, and we're here for round one of the European Rallycross Championships. Division 1, the showroom class as it's called. Here are the main contenders. The German Bernd Leinemann, the first German ever to win a European Championship round. Ludvigt Hunsbedt tried to put together a Mitsubishi deal for this year, but he's driving an RS Cosworth again. A new car this year for Eivind Opland, a Mitsubishi Lancer. 2 years in a Nissan Sunny, saw him second in '93. And this is Gunde Svan, the ex-Olympic Langlauf skiing champion. This is his second season, and this season he's driving for the Kristobolen Toyota Celica GT team. A very smartly turned out team it is too. So on to the Division 1A final, the big race. That is the car of Carlsson on the second row, slightly bent. Opland is on the front row alongside pole sitter Hunsbedt.
Okay, as the marshal walks across to the left, any moment now they'll get the green light. They do, and indeed it is Opland with the Mitsubishi making a very, very good start. And who gets a bit of a nudge there from the back from Hunsbedt, and that unsettles the lead car, and Hunsbedt takes the advantage to go through and take the lead. Hunsbedt now leads this one. We wonder what the judge of fact on the corner will make anything of that, and allowed Solberg to come in very strongly into third place and have a look for second, but Opland recovered very, very quickly. He'll have his dander up now because he won't like that. So the three Norwegians out there, 1, 2, 3 at the moment. And it is indeed Ludvigt Hunsbedt leading Eivind Opland with Henning Solberg in third place. Then comes the two Toyotas for the Team Toyota Sweden team, and we can see that the Dutchman has dropped as we get a replay here. You see a replay there of Hunsbedt, so I don't know if it was intentional or not, but he certainly made pretty severe contact with the back end of Ludvigt the back end of Opland's car. And Toyota's getting away now from Jos Kuipers, the Dutchman dropping well back. And it's now Ludvigt Hunsbedt then, the 1993 champion, leading this one. Opland there in second place as he sheds a bit of bodywork, the rear bumper falling off the car. Everybody avoids it. The two Toyotas having their own private battle there with Svan leading Carlsson. But at the flag, it is Hunsbedt who takes it. Hunsbedt from Opland.
Well, I can tell you that the judges and marshals convened, and Hunsbedt, for that bit of dodgy driving, was demoted back into 6th position and only scores 11 championship points. Top scorer then is Eivind Opland with 20. Eklund on pole for the big race of the day, the A final, Division 2, alongside him Bjorn Skogstad in his Cosworth. On the second row, two Citroens. Generations apart though, we've got the ZX of Hansen and the Xantia of Pailler with mighty wings in evidence. British Will Gollop is alongside the Audi of Kristoffersen. This looks like it's going to be a good one. Arthur.
Yes, I think it is a very unusual look to the front row of that grid. I don't think too many people here today expected to see Bjorn Skogstad there, but there he is. Let's see if he can retain that advantage. No, he cannot. He's obviously got a problem going off the start line. So really, this is now going to be a 5-car race with already the Skogstad car out, and it is Jean-Luc Pailler who comes through from the second row, making another one of his lightning starts to come through and lead this one, with Eklund with the Subaru Impreza in second place, and Will Gollop is up to third. Flying the flag well for Great Britain here this afternoon. Former British and European champion there. Will Gollop, who's got a problem, I think, and Kenneth Hansen goes through. Yes, surely it's a flat tyre, I would think. Tommy Christopherson coming up behind as well now. Surely he won't be able to hold Tommy off. There you can see, yes, it's an offside front tyre, flat once again on the Will Gollop car. Tyre is deflated, so is the driver. Tommy Christopherson goes through, says thank you very much. He's up now to 4th place, but there is our race leader and the man who looks as though he's going to open his account here this afternoon with a maximum score of 20 points. Still per Eklund, chasing hard. A brilliant race this is to end the afternoon's racing, but it is Jean-Luc Pailler leading quite comfortably then, and the Citroen domination of European Rallycross seems to continue unabated here this afternoon, as is indeed Frenchman Jean-Luc Pailler taking victory from the Citroen Xantia from Sweden's Per Eklund, and there is the bearded Frenchman acknowledging the applause of the crowd, and he must be a very, very happy man.
Don't forget to join us for the next round, which takes place in Portugal. Will be at least as exciting, if not more. Hunsbedt doesn't like it, he's just rolled it, and do you know, that's exactly the same corner that he rolled it on. My heavens, he's driving off again, I don't believe it. He rolled in the same place last year, and Hunsbedt, very bent, to rejoin the race. And we've lost Solberg, who has flipped on the back part of the circuit. Look quite carefully here, and you'll see him well and truly airborne. There he goes, in exactly the same place as Hunsbedt, but a lot higher and a lot more damage. No way he's going to drive away from that. Once again, in these European events, they don't seem to think that a crash like that is worth red flagging it, but that's not going to worry Gunde Svan in the Toyota as he goes on to take the checkered flag. This young man being asked his first season, said, I was having a go with Opland and I just couldn't see anything. Making a bit of a comeback too, but here's the battle for first place. We're on board with Jean-Luc Pailler. Veriken, incidentally, Camille Veriken is up the rear, and Schanche has done it! Where he touched it, the crowd are going mad. Where he touched that bank just a lap before, he rolls the car, he ruins Will Gollop's chances as well, and he didn't even have to race in this third qualifying heat for Division 2. He will be furious. No way he can rebuild his car ready for the A final. He'd already qualified for it. That's very un-Schankerish. Meanwhile, the race is still going on. Jean-Luc Pailler on 3 wheels makes his final challenge to get in front of Squibb. Has he done it? Squibb has still got the best line. Has he got the best nerve as he hangs onto it and Squibb goes through? Brilliant driving by Squibb. A disconsolate Gollop trying to make an impression on the left-hand side. Well, he's made a big impression there as Jose Borg, the Portuguese driver, nearly takes out one of the cameramen on the inside corner, and into the lead goes Etienne van den Branden. Your picture there in the other Toyota of Gunde Svan, and a brilliant start by Jos Kuipers. Wow, he's out-dragged the front 2 men, and he's even got inside the Toyota Celica. Superb driving and superb reactions from the Dutchman Jos Kuipers. And in the commentary booth here, we've just commented that there's only one Ford in this A final. Still on board with Carlsson, who's in 3rd place. The highly professionally run and turned out Toyota Celica team. Looking for consistency and looking to find a little bit of extra power there. Look at this Opland with his Lancer right on the tail now. Almost up the aerofoil of Jos Kuipers. One little error and Kuipers knows he'll be snapped up. Coming on to the last lap. Now then, Opland has been saving everything for this, I am sure. He's right in there. Oh, Kuipers just pushed it a fraction too hard around there. He couldn't handle the pressure that Opland put on him, and look at this. It looks like some of that fairground demonstration driving. He just holds on to it, and it hasn't dented the car, but has certainly dented his pride. As Opland goes through, Carlsson's in 2nd place. And Jos Kuipers, well, remember that. He'll rejoin it, but he'll remember that for a long, long time. It just shows how that little bit of extra pressure that Opland put on him as they came into that last lap paid off. So Opland takes the checkered flag. Carlsson takes it for Toyota in 2nd place, and the crowd give them a tremendous round of applause for some exciting rallycross. Amazingly enough, Jos Kuipers ended up in 3rd place despite his demonstration driving. Lars Salzström 4th, Gunde Svan with the other Toyota in 5th, and Jan Becker in 6th place. And we're ready for our Division 2 of the A final of the 2nd round of the European Championship Rallycross season. Hansen has been starting well, and he does so once again. He cuts right across in front of Skogstad, and Hansen actually goes virtually straight on as they go onto the loose. It's Skogstad who leads in there. Barry Squibb making a big challenge on the inside, but that was a brilliant bit of starting, and Skogstad just touched the inside of that bank and went up onto 2 wheels. And Hansen is now putting on the pressure as they slow down for the hairpin and come round onto the start-finish straight. You can expect a big roar from the crowd as Skogstad lays down that power, accelerates along the start-finish straight. Look Gollop was going to go through there. And of course, especially here in Portugal, a good start's important where you come onto the loose straight after that fast start, finish straight in the right-hander. Anyway, Skogstad out in front. Hansen second. But Skogstad, oh, Skogstad just touched, not the curb, a little bit of a bank there. But Hansen can find no way round him at all. He'll wait until they come onto the start, finish straight and give it everything he's got just to maybe take him on the line, but no way. A bit battered, but ecstatic. Hansen, well, he'll wonder how on earth he didn't manage to get past Skogstad. How on earth Skogstad didn't relinquish to his pressure. Tremendous scenes of emotion. Here comes Susan Bergvall to embrace and congratulate Bjorn Skogstad. What Kenneth Hansen will say about that. 2 seasons completely devoid of any wins for Bjorn Skogstad. Here he is, atop the podium, Portugal, opening the champagne and starting to live out some of those dreams that he must have had when he started on the rallycross circuit.
The flying Norwegian taking that one very comfortably and rolls it. Oh, I say, he has rolled it after taking the second place. Now then, will that keep him out of the finals this afternoon? He's won the race. I would imagine he did it in a very, very quick time, but he has rolled his car. Martin, what have you done? Now then, first and foremost, is the driver okay? Yes, he is there. You can see some of the drivers coming immediately to his aid. There's Rob Gibson. Martin Schanche is not at all happy. Come on, let's get that machine back on its wheels, he says. Let's get it back on its wheels quickly. And there he is, back on its wheels again.
A well-focused Eivind Opland looking for another good performance in this Division 1A final after.
He got Koutny on the outside, who's qualified very, very well, but you can see one of the Toyotas making a brilliant start there as well. I think it's Gunde Svan, who's come up into second place, but once again it is Opland out front with the Mitsubishi Lancer. Opland it is, looking to take a maximum score here again this afternoon, and that will indeed give him a maximum in this championship of 60 points. He will be unbeaten, quite honestly, unrivaled at the moment. Comfortable victory for Opland.
Well, comfortable is hardly the word, really, and as Eivind Opland does his victory roll, or as Arthur calls it, donuts in the dust, I can tell you that the margin of victory over Gunde Svan in the Toyota Celica was an extraordinary 3.07 seconds. 3 wins in a row, then, for the Norwegian Eivind Opland.
Well, there we see the face of Jean-Luc Pailler, who gets the victory on home soil. There is a worried, shall we say, look on the face of Will Gollop. And this is Martin Schanche. Now, Martin appears to be talking to his pit crew. Kenneth Hansen patiently waiting. This, of course, a final of Division 2. Race completed there by Sune Andersen. Martin Schanche blasts away. He's not in the lead, though. It is Jean-Luc. And once again, the Xantia gets that phenomenal traction off the start line. And just look at the way that car goes away from Martin Schanche. Kenneth Hansen in 3rd place. Kenneth Hansen in 3rd. Who is in 4th? It is Per Eklund in 4th. Will Gollop is 5th. And Sune Andersen a very distant 6th already. In the meantime, Martin Schanche, we ride with Martin Schanche here. You can see the Xantia dancing around on the loose. And it is indeed Martin Schanche coming up to challenge now for second place, and those first 4 cars are all fairly close together. But it's Jean-Luc Pailler from France, Martin Schanche from Norway. Again, we ride with Martin Schanche. Just look at Martin, just so cool, calm and collected inside the car. Those first 4 cars all very, very close together again now. Martin Schanche looking up the inside again, but again he cannot do it. Again, Eklund closes the door very comprehensively on him. They bounce and buck around over this now very rough circuit. And meantime, it is still Schanche putting all the pressure onto Jean-Luc. Then Kenneth Hansen coming into the act as well. And there in 4th place is Per Eklund, and Will Gollop has been left a long, long way behind. But as they come away, it is still Jean-Luc Pailler looking for his 2nd win of the year. Martin Schanche into an A final for the first time and looking for his first point score in an A final this year. He's still there. Kenneth Hansen is right in there with them. They're getting away a bit now from Per Eklund. Per Eklund beginning to drop back. It really is between the 2 Citroens and the meat in the Citroen sandwich. Whistler, Martin Schanche, and Schanche again putting all the pressure he can onto Jean-Luc, weighing up the opposition as they go round this circuit. Just ready to pounce. I'm sure that Martin's thinking to himself, well, this is the place I've got to do it. He's probably made up his mind exactly where he's going to have a look for the lead, and he's just playing a waiting game at the moment, trying perhaps in the meantime to pressurise the cool, calm and collected Frenchman into a mistake, but Jean-Luc is having none of it, and the Xantia still leads, and the ZX is right there in third place, but sandwiched between them is Martin Schanche, and the crowd are going wild. They want to see a bearded Frenchman win here, but can he do it? Martin Schanche looking every inch of the way round this circuit for the lead, and Martin Schanche coming up on the inside, and as we ride, where did he go through? Martin Schanche goes through, takes the lead from Jean-Luc Pailler. And there must be thousands and thousands of very disappointed Frenchmen around this circuit at the moment. But Martin Schanche, no mistakes now, I would think. Martin Schanche really throwing the dust into the Frenchman's face, quite literally here now, and storming away. And this is going to be the third winner in as many rounds in this championship this year, and the second win for a Norwegian driver, as Martin Schanche now follows on from the Bjorn Skogstad victory in Portugal. And Martin Schanche it still is from Jean-Luc Pailler. Kenneth Hansen is in third. They're on their last tour, and Martin Schanche coming through. He's surely going to win this one now, and at the end they are very spread out, and victory to the Norwegian superstar, Mr. Martin Schanche. So Martin obliterates everything from our view. There you see one very happy man.
Everyone seems to be happy when the racing is good. Jean-Luc Pailler ended up second, but he's still smiling and laughing there. We had Kenneth Hansen in a very respectable third. Will Gollop managed fourth in the end, Perek in fifth, and Sune Andersen in sixth position. So the championship points look like this, with Jean-Luc Pailler 2 points ahead of Kenneth Hansen. Will Gollop is in third place, fairly consistent performance from him. Bjorn Skogstad and Martin Schanche are tied for fourth. Let's look at the nations on the grid for the Division 1A final. 2 Norwegians, 2 Swedes, a German and a Dutchman.
Yes, Peter, and an all-Mitsubishi front row for the first time this year, the first time ever surely in European Rallycross. Can they hold off the challenge of Gunde Svan? Well, one of them can at the moment, because Jos Kuipers doesn't make a very good start, and it's Svan who slips into second place there, but it's Opland once again up front. Opland leading, Hunsbedt looking for that second place, can't do it. We're riding with him as we go. Oh, you can feel that bump as they go over the jump there, and as they go over the jump, oh, and he loses it, and he's collected there by Jos Kuipers. Now, that's a big problem for both of those two drivers, a really, really big problem. The problem with Ludvigt Hunsbedt at the moment is that he's got 4 cars in front of him. 2 he desperately wants to get past. Can he do it? Solstrom, in the meantime, wants to get himself into third if he can. Jan Becker doesn't want either of them to do that. He wants to stay in third. Up front, I can tell you there's been no positional change. You're not missing anything. It's still Opland from Svan. This is the battle we're concentrating on. Oh, and Hunsbedt. But as they come round that last corner, it is indeed once again Eivind Opland with the Mitsubishi Lancer, who takes victory from Gunde Svan in the Toyota Celica. And who is going to be in the third place? It is Lasse Solstrom who comes through. And what's happened to Becker? He's dropped back to fifth, and Hunsbedt takes fourth.
Poor old Jan Becker, after all that hard work on the last corner of the last lap, he has to relinquish his position. But somebody who was very lucky to stay on all 4 wheels was Ludvigt Hunsbedt. Here we see this very close battle as all 3 of them come over the jump looking for third place effectively. And we saw Lasse Solstrom go into this corner, following the line so closely as Hunsbedt. It's too closely. His front wheel probably gets caught in a little bit of a rut, and he just manages to correct that and stay on 4 wheels. But
these are the big boys, these are the big cars, and this is the race I think that most people have been waiting for. Kenneth Hansen looking for a victory on home territory, and remember, if Kenny can win today, it will be the 4th different winner that we've seen in this category so far this year. There is one of those previous winners, and that, of course, is Martin Schanche, the only other previous winner in this particular race. And Martin Schanche is away with the Swedes into second and third place, Kenneth Hansen into second place, Tommy Christopherson into third, Michael Jernberg surely up there very well in 5th place ahead of Barry Squibb. But it is Martin Schanche leading this gaggle of Swedish drivers, with the British driver Barry Squibb bringing up the rear.
Well, we're on board with Kenneth Hansen here. He's got a helmet camera. You can see him chasing Schanche. We've also got a camera on board Eklund as well, so he's in 4th position at the moment, Arthur.
Yes, Peter, he's down in 4th position. It looks as though Kenneth Hansen is the guy who's going to take a home victory. Any of these Swedish drivers are. A bit of smoke coming from Kenneth's car there. Might have been a brake locking up, I think. Nothing too serious. And he really is getting in there with Martin Schanche once again. Tommy Christopherson hanging on there with the big Audi in 3rd place. Behind them, we can still see Per Eklund.
Well, we saw Schanche just clip a curb, and that was reminiscent of when he rolled it very unfortunately, and I think there was a little lack of concentration, and it was a lack of concentration, I think, from Christopherson as well at that stage.
Yeah, we can see that Tommy has dropped back now to 4th place. There is the view, as you see it literally from Kenneth. The helmet, and here comes through to the flag. Can he do it? Well, there's the grand time finisher. Kenneth Hansen, is it a dead heat, Peter? What would you make of that? Well, at the very dying stages of that race, it looked as though Schanche had walked it, but...
Well, we can confirm that it was Kenneth Hansen who just got all of those 4 tyres to blast that 650 brake horsepower down on that last corner and just snatch it. And Schanche must be furious. That puts Hansen clear at the head of the leaderboard there, ahead of Jean-Luc Pailler, who was, of course, not competing here this weekend.
Yeah, we see it again, Peter, and I think Martin probably thought he'd got it in the bag and maybe just eased off, but you can see it is so close. Very, very difficult to decide which of those 2 cars has got it, and in fact, I don't think Kenneth Hansen at the moment knows that he's won. He gets out of the car, not looking like a man who's won. Somebody just... given him the message! He's got it! Listen to the crowd.
You've got to be an extremely cool thinker to be able to react that quickly when you're breathing in a load of dust from the man in front, and to anyway sneak a lead out of somebody like Schanche with so much experience is truly remarkable.
Yeah, I don't think Martin can quite believe this. Yet another look at it, and Martin goes very, very wide. Kenneth comes up on the inside. Here it looks as though he is comfortably in the lead. Maybe Martin does just give it that final burst to try and get that lead back again, but at the line you can see that Kenneth was just in front, but only just. Yes, and Barry Squibb is on the outside of the front row of the grid. Martin Schanche is on the 2nd row, but it's Kenneth Hansen who comes away from pole to lead this one as Schanche comes up on the inside of Squibb with Jean-Luc Pailler already up into 4th place, and Will Gollop making another very, very slow start. Young Skogstad is the white escort in there as well, but it is Kenneth Hansen leading it. Kenneth Hansen leads, and who is in 3rd place? It is Barry Squibb, yes it is. Then comes Jean-Luc Pailler, and Will Gollop is down in 6th, and again a very slow start for Will Gollop, down in 6th position, and already 2 cars are getting quite clear here, as the new colours being shown very quickly there on the Barry Squibb car. And I think Barry Squibb is dropping back a bit, and we saw a quick glimpse there of Barry Squibb's car, which began to look as though it's a handling problem and could have a puncture maybe. Poor old Barry Squibb is not going to take that first ever victory, but nevertheless Barry Squibb has turned in another fine drive here. Will Gollop, I think, has faced a bit of a disappointment in this race. We would have expected to have seen Will here at Brands Hatch right up on the pace, but it's not to be. No, Will right down the order there as Barry Squibb is now being challenged by Jean-Luc, and Jean-Luc goes through into 3rd place, I think. Jean-Luc Pailler surely up into 3rd place. Martin Schanche still can't do anything about Kenneth Hansen. There is a battle between Jean-Luc and, yes, Jean-Luc up there now ahead of Barry Squibb.
But this is what Rallycross is all about. It's nose to tail and no infringements at all. Very fair and technically perfect driving.
It is indeed, and look at this. Will Gollop is up now ahead of Skogstad and challenging Barry Squibb. As he goes through past Barry Squibb, he's up now behind Jean-Luc Pailler. He's in 4th place, and Skogstad is also squaring Barry Squibb, and I think Barry Squibb has indeed got a problem with that car. I can't really honestly see it from this angle, as Skogstad lets his feelings know that he is through, and Skogstad goes up to 5th position now. Kenneth Hansen still goes through, and Kenneth Hansen wins it!
Yeah, it was very close during the final, and it's difficult when you are in the lead and you know that someone behind, like Martin, for example, here, who can go exactly the same speed. You can't take the same line exactly, because if you do a little mistake, he will be on the inside. So you need to be a little closer to the corners, and that means that he is also easier to follow. But it was a very good final.
For him over here in Ireland, as we move on to the Division 1 C final, and a pretty competitive grid as well, with Holyfield, Maloney, Eriksson, Bardy, Norgard and Toomey lined up for this one, Arthur.
All three Irish drivers in this one, Peter. Let's see if one of them can win it. And Holyfield surely has got to be the favourite, I would think, as they come away. Who is going to be in the lead into that first corner? Fighting it out through the dust clouds, and away we come, almost three abreast up towards our camera, and surely it is Helmut Holyfield, I think, who has got it, and John Maloney surely into second place. I think that's John Maloney in second place. It is indeed. In third place is Lasse Eriksson, then comes Tony Bardy, and we can see Kevin Toomey circulating at the back end of the order. Merging out of the dust and down towards us, Tony Bardy coming under a lot of pressure there from the Subaru, but Bardy still holding station. But this isn't quite as good a result as I thought Tony Bardy could achieve here at Mondello Park, and I think the Nissan beginning to feel its age in the heat, and indeed feeling its age there quite noticeably, and I think Tony Bardy is destined for retirement. But in the meantime, surely we have got up front the two Irish drivers, Helmut Holyfield, John Maloney. Jan-Willy Nordgaard is going very well also. He's coming up midfield. But there is Helmut Holyfield. A win here will put him onto the back of the B final. So Helmut Holyfield it is. John Maloney in second place. Then the battle going on between Eriksson and Nordgaard. We've lost Tony Bardy. Kevin Toomey circulating in fifth position now. There is our race leader then, Helmut Holyfield. Helmut Holyfield coming through, and I think it's going to be a place on the back of the B final for the man from Killiney, just south of Dublin, and the reigning Mondello Park champion then comes through to take victory, and it's an Irish 1-2 with John Maloney coming home in second place, and that's a good result for John. Third place goes to Nordgaard, just ahead of Eriksson, who was really being hounded at the end of it all by Kevin Toomey.
Well, the crowd enjoying that one, a little bit of partisan support and applause as we have a look at confirmation of those results. Helmut Holyfield, as you said, in first, Maloney second, Jan-Willy Nordgaard third, Lasse Eriksson fourth, Kevin Toomey fifth, Tony Bardy ends up in sixth. So the Division 2C final now, and a rather depleted front row of the grid with the lonely Lloyd Spenlove, the Irish driver in his Peugeot 205 two-wheel drive, sitting on the front there. Tommy Graham behind him in the Ford Fiesta two-wheel drive, and alongside him, highly competitive when they get it all right, is Anders Norstedt in the Saab, beautifully prepared. Arthur.
Green light, and watch the Irish drivers, three Irish drivers in this one, but Anders Norstedt with the four-wheel drive car, in fact I think the only four-wheel drive car in this race, coming away then with the Castrol Saab. Anders Norstedt from Sweden leading this one quite comfortably. In second place it is indeed young Lloyd Spenlove from County Wicklow, then the man who lives nearly on the doorstep of Mondello Park, that's Tommy Graham, known as the People's Champion. They love Tommy Graham over here, and I can assure you that the grandstand will come alive if Lloyd Spenlove can get in front of the Saab. If an Irish driver can win this, the roof will probably come off that grandstand, but I think Anders Norstedt should be in with a chance here of taking this one. Non-starter Bjorn Skogstad had a dreadful qualifying and a terminal problem with his car, so that's why he's not in this race, and that has handed victory, I would think, quite comfortably now to Anders Norstedt, who is actually now on his last lap. Anders Norstedt, Lloyd Spenlove still there in second place, Tommy Graham is third, Marcel Bearden is fourth, and Phil Armstrong, another very local man down there with the Peugeot 309, completes the five cars circulating the County Kildare Motor Club circuit at the moment, but not for much longer, because here comes our race leader and winner, and saluting the checkered flag, and a very popular win, I would think, therefore, Anders Norstedt, and there is the Irish Challenge coming to an end with a second place there for Lloyd Spenlove.
Third place, Tommy Graham. There he is. He's been entertaining everybody this weekend tremendously and enjoying his rallycross. Fourth place, Marcel Bearden. Fifth place goes to Philip Armstrong. Well, we move on to the Division 1B final. And on the grid, we've got Jan Becker there in front of you. Our camera's on board him. And just making sure he's exactly on the right millimetre is Gunde Kittelsen. Had fairly lackluster qualifying, but at least he is on the front row of the B final. And we hope the Gunde Svan and the Toyota boys have got their troubles sorted out. And this is Oliver Sass and his escort, and they're making up the rest of the grid. We've got Holfield and Pavel Koutny, who's had a puncture and a spin, so he'll be looking to at least get around this one, Arthur.
Yes, a lot of A finalists so we would normally expect to see in a B final here, Peter, and it's Jan Becker leading them away. Jan Becker leads this one. Gunde Svan is in a third place, and it looks as though Koutny might have made up a place there as they went into that first corner, but we're riding with Jan Becker. He heads the pack as they come up into the right-hander there. Gunde Svan still in a third place, and remember, to get into the A final, you've got to win this one, and Jan Becker is the man who looks as though he might be going to do it at the moment. Jan Becker leading this one. Gunde Kittelsen still there in second place. Gunde Svan behind him. Then comes Koutny. Holfeld completing the order at the moment as they come through once again, and Svan pulling out to have a look. Gunde Svan coming up to have a look for second place. Has he got it? Yes, he has. Gunde Svan's got that second place from Gunde Kittelsen. So, and now he's gone wide, and he surely lost it, I think. Kittelsen gets it back again, and now we've got Becker in trouble, and Kittelsen comes from third to first in one fell sweep, and Jan Becker, I think, has got a problem on his hands, and Gunde Svan must be kicking himself. He went into the lead, went wide, lost the lead, and then not only did he drop back, but then Jan Becker had a problem, and Gunde Kittelsen took the advantage. We're still riding with Jan Becker, but he's a long way back, and I don't know what the problem is, but the car seems to be handling problem by the way he's working on that steering wheel. But now as they come through, we can see Koutny is in the third place, Sass is in fourth, but it's 108, Gunde Kittelsen, the grand old man, who we call him, from Norway, as when the car goes past the unfortunate Jan Becker, and I think the young man from Hamburg has now dropped right to the tail end of the order. So Gunde Svan a little bit out of luck here at the moment. Can he fight back? He's closing in once again on Gunde Kittelsen. This is going to be a pretty close one to the flag, I would think, as they come through the twists and turns here of the County Kildare circuit. I can see just in front of them in there from that shot some of the back markers are not that too far away. Will they play any part in the result of this race, I ask myself. Meantime, it is still Gunde Kittelsen from Gunde Svan. It's really between those two drivers now as they come away from the grandstand, up the short burst, into the hole in the hedge, flick right, round, back onto the loose very soon, where there's a right, a left, and then another right-hand flick out of it, back onto the tarmac, and Gunde Svan is right in there now with our race leader, Gunde Kittelsen. Can he find a way through? No, at the moment he cannot. Gunde Kittelsen still cool, calm and collected, and the former Olympic ski man there in second place. He pulls out to have another look. Now it's a power race up the hill, and he knows he hasn't got the power to do it, and he tucks back in again as he goes into his last lap, and that has cost him a couple of cars' lengths as they went away. There is Jan Becker, I think just about to call it a day. Yes, Jan Becker has now pulled off. We don't know what's wrong with his car, but he's well and truly out of this race. He will be classified sixth. But the man who's going to win it, I think, and maybe go through onto the back row of the A final is indeed Gunde Kittelsen. Gunde Svan, this might cost him his lead of the championship, I would think. If he can't make the A final, surely he's going to lose his championship lead. And it is indeed Gunde Kittelsen taking this one. Gunde Svan in second place. Pavel Koutny for the Czech Republic leads home. Oliver Sass with Helmut Holfield in close attention.
Well, an expensive mistake there for Gunde Svan, but it does make for exciting rallycross, Arthur. And here we see the confirmation of the B final Division 1 results. Jan Becker did in fact retire, we understand, with black finals, with Per Eklund there on pole position. Alongside him we have Jernberg. The sun still streaming down here. Then Martin Iversen. We're on board with Per Eklund. And they're away, Arthur.
Barry Squibb missing from the front row of the grid, Peter, so yet another top runner non-starting this afternoon as Iversen goes through, and Eklund makes a very, very tardy start, and Michael Jernberg has a bit of a go at Iversen in that first corner, but Iversen withstands the pressure, and Martin Iversen comes away. Per Eklund has got going now, but he's down in third position only. Jernberg in the second, but it's Martin Iversen who is in the lead. Looked a very slow start there for Per Eklund. The car seemed to die on him on the start line, which is not an unusual occurrence here at Mondello, because the Mondello circuit certainly has got a lot of traction down there on the start line, and they find it difficult to spin their wheels at times. A very, very sticky start line, particularly I would think on a hot day like this. Meantime, it's Iversen leading with Jernberg there in second place, and John Happy's going very, very well indeed. John Happy is there in fourth place. Anders Norstedt into the B final as well for the first time with the new Saab. But there indeed is Per Eklund. If you there, you can see John Happy right in there with them. And John Happy is right in with three of the best in Europe. And it's Norway's Martin Iversen leading from the Swedish duo of Jernberg and Eklund. Behind the Clarion car of Eklund comes young John Happy from Portadown in Northern Ireland. And he drops back just a bit as Eklund, again, drops a couple of wheels off the grass and has another look at Michael Jernberg. But Peter, I've been singing the praises of Michael Jernberg, and I think you've got to say that for a privateer, this lad is good.
He's in there, he's mixing it, he is just as competitive, and it just shows that if you pull the stops out, you can perform at that sort of level.
You can indeed, but this is the younger member of the Iversen family, Jan Arthur's son, Martin Iversen, then from Norway, leading this one and beginning to look quite comfortable, as Michael Jernberg really has got his mirrors full of this car, which is dancing around there, the Subaru Impreza of Per Eklund. John Happy behind them. That's between those four cars. Anders Nordstedt's been left well in their wake, but meantime, Martin Iversen looking as though he may be heading for an A final here in Mondello Park this afternoon. Martin Iversen it is, son of the father and son team who have this big packaging company business in Norway, which provides the financial input into this very successful team. Michael Jernberg again, as you can see, Per Eklund trying all the time to get the Impreza through if he possibly can. Looks as though that steering wheel's going to come off in his hand any moment. Oh, heavens above, but they really are trying, and John Happy's hanging in on there well in fourth place. This is the B final, remember, and somebody here is going to make the cut into the top six and get into the A final. At the moment, that looks like being Martin Iversen. Still Eklund pressurising Michael Jernberg on this last lap. The Mondello Park loose surface, as you can see, standing up to the traffic as well as ever. A little bit dusty, but no major problems for the drivers. And it is indeed still Martin Iversen with the pack behind him, closing a touch, still leading them though as they come through. And he makes a bit of a moment in that last corner. Can somebody get through? No, they don't think they can. And it's Iversen who takes it to go into the A final from Jernberg, and then Per Eklund, and John Happy is a very creditable fourth.
Well, good rallycross, and the pressure on from start line to checkered flag there. Iversen from Jernberg, Eklund in third. So Division 3 A final now, and on the grid we've got a mixed bag: Novotny, Bergvall, Happy, Beck, Sherry, Boacek, Bales and Dalkin.
Yes, and Susan Bergvall was on pole, the reigning champion, but I think it's the winner from Brands Hatch in the previous meeting who's gone through into the lead. Pavel Novotny, I think, who leads, and there's a big sort out going on here in this first corner. Really can't see what's happening. I think Elliot Dalkin might have been involved in that, the young Newcastle driver with his Citroen AX. Simon Bales is also in this race, as is Cecil Happy. Cecil Happy, the father there in third place of young John Happy. Simon Bales also going quite well in this race. I think Simon, in fact, was the fastest qualifier in one of the qualifying heats this afternoon, so he'll be very pleased with that one. And as they go on their way, it is still Novotny leading this one from Susan Bergvall. In third place, it is still indeed Cecil Happy. Cecil Happy, who won this particular event here at Mondello Park last year. He is there in third place. And this, of course, is with the Suzuki Swift. Manfred Beck coming up quite strongly. Beck, who was also one of the fastest in one of the qualifying heats this afternoon. They really are very closely matched. But Susan Bergvall, the reigning champion from Sweden, Kenneth Hansen's fiancé, there in the second place, as Austrian Manfred Beck puts a lot of pressure onto Portadown Cecil Happy. Cecil there with the ex-circuit racing Suzuki Swift, which is prepared for him by Tony Bardy, and that car very comfortable leader of the British Championship, and has been almost unbeatable, was the winner of the British Championship meeting here at Mondello Park earlier this year. He's there in third place, but it's Novotny from the Czech Republic coming up to try and make it two in a row. Winner at Brands Hatch, leading now as Susan Bergvall still holds on to that second place. This is going to be the reigning champion's best result of the year if she can hold on to it. But there you can see in third place it is still Cecil Happy with Manfred Beck behind him. Manfred Beck there, and then we've got Kevin Sherry, the reigning British champion in his Suzuki Swift. So the Suzuki's going quite well, and Kevin Sherry driving his car for the very first time this year. Man who wants to sell it. He is a Canadian, would you believe it? Lives in Northern Ireland, so a very, very international field here. But as Novotny from the Czech Republic gets away, there are 4 cars in there, very, very close, and it's still Susan Bergvall leading this one from Suslavi. Becky's having a look, and so is Kevin Sherry. Kevin Sherry, they're almost 4 abreast as they come up towards the camera, but Susan Bergvall has got it. Susan Bergvall from Suslavi, Manfred Beck, and completing the order, Kevin Sherry. But Novotny is on his last lap and looking good for another win here. And the Czech Republic driver going very, very well indeed. Susan Bergvall cannot match him for pace, and it is indeed Pavel Novotny away in the very comfortable lead here as he rides around Mondello Park. Susan Bergvall still second, Cecil is third. There is Manfred Beck in fourth, Kevin Sherry is fifth. That looks like being the way they're going to finish this one as they come up into the region of the checkered flag, and Novotny makes it 2 in a row, and he will go to Belgium sitting on a hat-trick. Susan Bergvall is second, Cecil Happy is third, and Manfred Beck just holds off the attentions of Kevin Sherry.
Well, this 1400cc Cup providing excitement as always, especially when they come off the loose onto the tarmac for that start-finish straight, throws them up into the air. Confirmation of the results then, and that means we've now got a leaderboard. Manfred Beck takes over first place. Susan Bergvall moves up from 5th to 4th. Kokasso, who wasn't racing here, of course, is now in 2nd. Pavel Novotny, 3rd place. So as we line up for the Division 1A final, it's scorching on the grid. We're going to see scorching performance from the Lancer of Opland on pole. Alongside him will be some tough competition from Solstrom, as always. Mr. Cool, Bernd Leinemann, sitting there as if it's midwinter. Doesn't seem to affect him at all. And then making up the rest of the grid, we got Ludvigt, Hunsbedt, and Gunde Kittelsen. Solberg's got a problem, a bit of paper in his turbo, and I don't think he's going to get that cured in time. So the penultimate race, over to Arthur.
Yeah, we seem to be one down in all of our finals today, Peter, but that doesn't seem to be taking anything away from the racing, and Solstrom makes a brilliant start there. Hunsbedt gets left virtually on the grid, and it is indeed Solstrom who leads it. Solstrom, well, what a surprise. Solstrom leads this one from Opland in 2nd place. Solstrom leads, but can Opland get through? Oh, surely he can. Opland, who has been fastest on his 1st and 2nd qualifying heats, he sat the 3rd heats out because he didn't need to. He'd already qualified for the whole of the A final with the fastest time of the day in qualifying in this category. But at the moment, he is down there in 2nd position. Ludvig Hunsbedt up to 3rd place ahead of Bernd Leinemann. But it is still Lassie Solstrom leading this one. This is a big, big turnaround. This is a big surprise, and I think probably for the first time here at a long, long time, we are seeing an Escort Cosworth leading an A final. But for how much longer, I ask myself, because surely Opland is coming through now. He is. Opland is through. Eivind Opland from Norway goes ahead of Sweden's Lassie Solstrom. Hunsbedt is right there in the 3rd place. Then comes Bernd Leinemann. Gunde Kittelsen completes the order with, of course, Henning Solberg will be classified 6th, the non-starter. So it is indeed Opland with the only Mitsubishi Lancer here this weekend, going very, very well indeed. We are on board with Ludvig Hunsbedt there. Ludvig Hunsbedt at the moment still down in 3rd position. Solstrom still waves his mud flaps in 2nd place. Kittelsen closing there in 4th. 4 cars not that far apart. The 3 Escort Cosworths chasing hard on this Mitsubishi Lancer of Eivind Opland, and the win here today is surely going to put Opland back into the lead of the championship, I would think. And Gunde Svan, of course, is going to have to wait for the break now to Belgium to try and regain that lead in the series if he possibly can. Remember, it's 8 rounds to count, but Opland was excluded from an earlier round for a technical infringement. He has to include that in his score, so theoretically, for this man leading this race, this year it is a 7-round championship because he must count the no score for the exclusion in those best 8 performances. So that's why Opland has got to win if he possibly can, whenever he can. And he is doing that in fine style here at the moment. You can see a little bit of damage to the front end of the car after that first lap, when I think maybe he had a bit of a coming together with the car that's now placed there in 2nd place. But 4 cars well clear now. 4 cars well clear. Solstrom still there in 2nd place, Hunsbedt in 3rd, Leinemann 4th. And Gunde Kittelsen, I think, has retired from this race. I can't see anything of Gunde at the moment. But there is his fellow countryman then, Opland, who has been around the European Rallycross scene for a number of years now, and looking as though he may well be on his way this year to his first ever European Championship title. Opland it is. Solstrom still second. Hunsbedt third, Leinemann fourth. Leinemann, the man who comes through to take fourth place, chased Richard Hutton in the championship last year, but has to content himself with a subdued fourth place on this occasion.
So let's look at confirmation of those results. Opland from Solstrom, from Hunsbedt, Leinemann, Carlsson and Solberg, in fact, retired. So Eivind Opland on his celebratory lap, and he has cause to celebrate because he now moves into the lead of the championship ahead of Gunde Svan. Jos Kuipers in third place, Lars Solstrom fourth. And now for the big one, Division 2, A final. Kristoffersen has actually repaired his steering arm that was broken, and he's now out there and going to prove some things. The Citroen of Jean-Luc Pailler takes his position on the grid. Ireland Citroen written all down the side. We're on board with Kristoffersen. I don't know whether he's testing his steering, Arthur, or whether he's warming his tyres up there.
A bit of both, I think, Peter.
Up in front we can see Bardy Schanche with the door open, and alongside to the right there we have Will Gollop. This is the big one, Arthur.
Yeah, this is the chance where someone can get their first victory of the year, or maybe Martin's going to get his second, or perhaps Kenneth is going to get his third. Let's wait and see. And it is indeed Kenneth Hansen who brings the Citroen ZX away. Martin Schanche into second place, and as they all come tumbling through, Tommy Kristoffersen made a very, very bad start. Tommy Kristoffersen making a very bad start, and Will Gollop is third. Jean-Luc Pailler is fourth. Jean-Luc fourth, the winner here for the last 2 years in fourth place, but it's the Citroen up front, and it's Kenneth Hansen going away. Martin Schanche is hot foot behind him. Will Gollop looking for his first victory of the year, and indeed his first victory in Europe since the demise of the Group B cars. He's there in third place, already getting left behind, but being hounded all the way by Jean-Luc Pailler. And Will and Jean-Luc taking very, very different lines up that finish area. As the dust clouds come up, oh, it's getting a bit difficult to see what's coming up behind, but there indeed is Martin Schanche. Martin will want to stay right in close behind Kenneth, because that will allow him to sort of trap the rising dust from Kenneth's car underneath the Escort and keep his visibility clear. No visibility problems on the tarmac, obviously, but the only visibility problem that Martin Schanche has got is that he has a certain Citroen of Kenneth Hansen in front of him. And Kenneth's looking very good at the moment. Jean-Luc doing everything he can and a little bit more to get past Will Gollop, but Will keeping the Cliff Humphreys-powered Silk-Clean Lubricants Alpha Metals car there in third place. And we can see a good battle going on behind between Tommy Kristoffersen and the winner of the B final, Martin Everson. We ride with Tommy Kristoffersen, and as you can see from his cockpit, it's not too easy to see when there's a car just in front of you. But Kenneth Hansen looking pretty good at the moment, and Kenneth sitting on a hat-trick then. Winner in Sweden, winner in Britain, and now looking to be the winner in Ireland. Kenneth Hansen getting away now from Martin Schanche, really putting daylight between the two of them, and Will Gollop still fending off the attention of Jean-Luc Pailler. We have got virtually 3 races in one here, Peter, at the moment, but a lot of dust in between them.
Well, it's extraordinary. Oh, well, there's Gollop, and they've solved a lot of the problems. He had a lot of misfiring problems, you'll remember, at Brands Hatch, and couldn't get revs up on the grid. Seems to have sorted those out today, but is no match for Schanche or Hansen. The Citroen absolutely impeccably performing here. Kristoffersen right up the back end, giving us some good camera shots here, but not a lot else at the moment for Tommy.
No, it's nice to see Tommy at least in an A final and getting reliability from what is potentially the fastest and most powerful car in the category. But there you can see a very, very sideways Martin Schanche. Martin is giving it everything, or has he got a problem? Yes, he has. Look, the near side rear tyre is down. Can Martin hang on to that second place now? He's got almost a lap to go. Can he hang on to second? Will Gollop will be looking for a second place, and if he gets it, that will be Will Gollop's best result of the season, and I think it'll be his best result, as I said, since the aforementioned days of the Group B cars. So Will surely looking for a second place now. He can surely sense that Martin's got a problem. Martin Schanche hanging on. They're coming through that final corner up towards the checkered flag. Jean-Luc is still hanging on there. Can he take third place? There is Kenneth Hansen, a very, very clear winner, but who is going to be second? They're trying to come through abreast. Can Will Gollop come through on the inside and snatch second place? I think he might. I think Will Gollop has got it, but it's a very close fought thing, and Martin hangs on to, I think, third place. Jean-Luc is definitely fourth, but no doubt about it, the hat-trick for Kenneth Hansen.
Well, poor old Martin Schanche, a broken throttle cable and then a puncture. Not a lucky weekend for him, but look at that smiling face of Kenneth Hansen. What great teamwork has gone to put him on the top of the podium for the 3rd time this season. And it's great to see Will up there. So confirmation of the results. Kristoffersen 6th, Iversen 5th, Jean-Luc Pailler 4th, Schanche 3rd, and you know the top results. Now then, let's have a look at the leaderboard. Nothing has changed that much, except that Kenneth Hansen has increased his lead to 27 points. Will Gollop moves up to 4th, and Per Eklund drops down to 5th. Well, that's about it until August, when we rejoin the championship in Belgium. So until then, Let's have a few words from our winners.
Yeah, today it has been perfect, and all 3 runs has been very, very close in time for me, and it's a good feeling now when everything is working.
Will, you're on for a podium finish, but you must be delighted with that.
Yeah, I was struggling a little bit to keep up with the other 2. They were going to be gone, but I saw Martin had a problem. It gave me a bit more urge. A bit of smoke coming into the car at the time, so I just didn't care in the end.
Which round should we look forward to most? Norway, home win?
No, I don't. Well, home win or no home win, I'm certainly going to give it my best. I would say that the Ford is still better on the road, but I haven't got that last 1 bar plus in power that they can pick up. You know, I may have it, but I don't dare to use it. My wallet is a bit skinnier.
Well, we'll be watching for you, and I'm certain you'll give us maximum entertainment all the way.
Definitely, definitely, yes, yes. The yellow Ford is still going to fly.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Welcome to European Championship Rallycross, and after a short summer break, we're back with round 7 taking place in Ingvar in Belgium. This is just 10 k's away, the very attractive Belgian city of Koutny. And what are the Belgians famous for? Sweet teeth, I think, patisserie and wonderful chocolate. Canal's still one of the major ways of moving heavy loads around the countryside, and we mustn't forget the beer, Belgian beer. Very picturesque within Koutny, one of the major centres for the flax industry. And these fields have a lot of stories to tell, going back to the tragedies of the 2 Great Wars and those battles of Passchendaele and Ypres. A very different sort of battle going to be fought at Ingvar today, but first of all, the stars of the season so far. Kenneth Hansen.
Yeah, Kenneth Hansen leading the championship, Peter, the reigning European champion from Sweden, 3 victories in a row, and the ZX looking very, very competitive.
He's been having season-long confrontations with Martin Schanche.
That's right, and it was never close, and of course, it was on Kenneth's home ground in Sweden, where it almost was a dead heat, but Kenneth just took that one, as you'll see very, very shortly. Martin at the moment still with only 1 victory to his credit, and that was in France, but this is the very close finish in Sweden.
You do a blinder of a start, you outfox all your fellow competitors, bingo, you win.
Well, Martin Schanche says bingo, you win. Bingo, sometimes you don't win. That was a good roll, and he did it twice this season.
That's right, he's putting it on the roof there. That was in Portugal, and of course he did it again in France after having won his heat. So you could say Martin's looked at the sport from all angles this year, really, couldn't you?
And we can laugh about it because he got out of there all right. But one man who wasn't laughing about not performing that well in France is 3rd place in the championship now, Jean-Luc Pailler.
Former European champion from France, the only Frenchman ever to win the European Championship title from that country. And of course he started the season in great form by winning in Austria. But this is Jean-Luc defending a lead here in France, and there you can see Martin Schanche going through on the inside to take that solitary victory for the Norwegian so far this year.
Yes, and that was his first win for the season, wasn't it? And he had a fairly battered car at the end of all that. Jean-Luc Pailler, as I said, smiling there, but inside I'm sure he was fairly angry not to win on home territory. Our own British Will Gollop has been having a few problems sorting out his new 2-litre engine in the Peugeot, Arthur.
Yeah, this is Will at Mondello Park, where he scored his best result to date, a 2nd overall, thanks to Martin Schanche getting a puncture on the last lap. And Will still looking for his first victory in Europe, of course, since the demise of the old Group B cars.
Well, 5th in the standings before round 7 is the veteran pair Eklund, celebrating 30 years in motorsport this year.
Yes, a great asset to Rallycross, of course, this former world rally man, now in with the Subaru Impreza, a great machine, great to watch, and also, of course, this guy.
Barry Squibb, who's currently 6th in the standings.
Yeah, Barry had terminal engine failure here at Mondello Park, which, of course, he's been very fortunate. We've had this season break to get the car rebuilt.
Well, somebody else who needs a bit of rebuilding there is Skogstad, who's 7th in the championship.
Bjorn Skogstad, for so long a top competitor with Kenny Hansen in Division 1, now in Division 2. Started the season very, very well. Pole in Austria, outright victory in Portugal, but really nothing at all since.
Well, one of the most exciting cars on the rallycross scene is this incredibly powerful Audi. belonging to Tommy Christopherson, and he's had a very unfortunate season this season, Arthur.
Yeah, Tommy told us at Brands Hatch the car spent almost as much time in the garage as it has on the circuit, but when that car is on fine form, Tommy Christopherson, a very, very difficult competitor to beat. A great crowd pleaser, this one, but he's had his moments. Victory a few years ago at Valkenswaard, but this is a big moment for him at Brands Hatch. Not quite the sort of moment that he wanted, but one that was fired up by Martin Everson.
Well, Martin Everson is 8th in the championship standings, and he's showing here that he's a very contentious competitor as well. Sooner Anderson, also an Audi.
Yes, Sooner probably best remembered for that incident with Jos Durkens at Brands Hatch, which of course launched the popular Belgian driver onto the barriers.
Well, this is what the points look like, but it's quite complicated at this stage in the season.
Yes, it is, Peter. In fact, Hansen's a bit closer to Martin, really, because they have to count only their best 8 scores, and he's got more to drop.
Okay, on to Division 1, and the Mitsubishi of Opland has been raising a few eyebrows as he comes into this round leading the championship.
It has indeed. These Mitsubishis have been going very, very quickly, and so indeed have the Toyotas.
Yeah, this is second place ex-ski racer Gunde Svan.
The Gunde Svan a winner when Opland was excluded earlier this year, but the Toyotas still looking for their first real true victory. Could it happen here at Ingvar?
Well, their practice times show that they seem to have got everything together, and we could see a good outing here in Belgium. Jos Kuipers from Holland.
Very talented young Dutchman, winner at Brands Hatch, his first ever victory in Europe. Came very close to doing it at Portugal, but had a big moment there, which allowed Opland to go through and take victory. But these Mitsubishi Lancers seem to be the cars that really are dominating. There you see the Portuguese incident, which robbed Kuipers of his first victory. But it soon came at Brands Hatch.
Well, the Swedes so strong in Rallycross, and Lars Solström still keeping those Escort banners waving.
Yes, this young man in his second season of European Rallycross, and the Escort Cosworth now really being hounded around the circuits by the Japanese machinery. There is Bernd Leinemann.
He's currently 5th in the championship.
Yeah, top German.
And he's being challenged by Ingvar Carlsson, the second Toyota driver, currently in 6th position.
Ex-rallyman, now teammate of Gunde Svan in this very, very talented lineup.
This is what makes Rallycross an exciting spectator sport and an exciting participator sport. Equal 7th place, Ludvigt Hunsbedt.
Yeah, the Norwegian was the champion 2 years ago, but he really is struggling at the moment.
And up against him is Jan Becker with the little Nissan Sunny GTI going well this season.
Very talented young man from Hamburg, first season of European Rallycross, still keeping the Nissan up there with the leaders.
For Czechoslovakia, in 9th place, we've got Pavel Koutny.
Pavel Koutny, yes, on his day can be a front runner for the Czech Republic. Seen here having problems at Mondello Park.
And bringing up the 10th position in the championship standings, Henning Solberg.
Could well be the rookie of the year this year, Peter. This very talented young man from Norway started the season off very well with the 2nd place in Austria.
So the point situation just a little bit closer for Division 1.
Oh, the track is very difficult. It's so slippery here, and you must drive like an old woman and take it very easy. And but there's like for all, so we see what's happened later today.
On with Division 3 then. The current championship leader, Kokassa, having a superb season. He's chosen the middle position on the front row as opposed to the designated pole, which is to the left of the front row.
And we're on board with Kokassa as we go away off the start line. And is he going to be the early leader? No, he is not. He has been overtaken. And somebody else having a go at getting past him, I think, because there's quite a frantic action as they go into that first corner. And the little 1400s really sorting themselves all out. And Kokassa, you can see, just leading that bunch. Is he going to emerge ahead of it? Yes, he is, but he's not the leader of the race. Oh, and more troubles there for 5-1-7. That's Christian Heck. And there is Kokassa. Jean-Michel Laurent is the race leader, surely. Jean-Michel Laurent, the Belgian driver with the Peugeot 106 XSI, leads this one. But for how much longer, I wonder, because it looks like Kokassa's coming through, and Kokassa doesn't take the lead. Kokassa leads this one now for Jean-Michel Laurent, and in 3rd place with a course-marking tyre stuck under his front wing there, we can see Jos Boone. Now, Jos Boone is going to be very lucky if he can hang on to that position, I would think. Michel Laurent, it is still in 2nd place. Noel Coquelin is the man who's coming up very, very strongly behind. Noel Coquelin, I think, maybe going to get 3rd place here as they come towards the closing stages of this race. So you see who the order is here. It is indeed Noel Coquelin, 5-3-3, who has no moving up very strongly there in 4th place, but still Jos Boone holding him off. There is our race leader, and that indeed is Kokassa. So Kokassa it is, going to increase his lead in the championship, I would think, as he comes then through towards the conclusion of this race, takes the checkered flag. Jean-Michel Laurent is going to be in 2nd place, and indeed Noel Coquelin it is who comes through to take 3rd from Jos Boone.
So there we have confirmation of the results of Division 3A final, exciting racing. On to Division 1A final, that's Jos Kuipers. Carlsson, who has the fastest time of the day in his class. That's Opland just behind there, and alongside him the other Toyota of Gunde Svan, Arthur.
Yes, and Carlsson's fastest time of the day, his first ever in the European Championship. Can he capitalise upon it? But no, it's Jos Kuipers who leads it. With, we can see that Hunsbedt's come up very, very strongly. Hunsbedt up into 2nd place. Opland is getting squeezed out by the Toyotas. I think he's trying for 3rd place. Can he get it? No, he cannot. He cannot get it. And it is indeed the Toyotas who are really squeezing him out now. And it is Kuipers who leads, though, as Opland goes down to 5th. Behind him is Bernd Leinemann, the winner of the B final, but up front is Jos Kuipers leading this one from Hunsbedt. Then comes the 2 Toyotas, and so nearly losing it there, Jos Kuipers, but he hangs on. You can see now that 127 Ingvar Carlsson looking for 2nd place and taking it. Carlsson moves up to 2nd place, and Hunsbedt's got a problem. Ludvigt Hunsbedt looks like he's doomed for retirement, and it is now Kuipers leading this one from 2nd place Carlsson, 3rd place is Svan, then comes Opland, behind him is Bernd Leinemann. So Bernd Leinemann is, after all, going to be the top escort driver here this afternoon, but it looks as though he's going to be no better than 5th behind this Japanese quartet of the 2 Mitsubishis and the 2 Toyotas. And the Toyotas very much the meat in a Mitsubishi sandwich here at the moment, and still they seem, Peter, as though they're not going to get that elusive first ever victory by winning to take the checkered flag.
Well, Kuipers knows this circuit pretty well, and he's proving it to the others, and he's also showing that as the season progresses, he seems to get more and more consistent.
He does. He won at Brands Hatch. He didn't go to Mondello Park. He looks as though he's going to win here today. But meantime, you can see Opland is now putting in a late charge. Opland winning a late charge to get past Svan. There is Kuipers, though, with the advantage up front. And already the crowd are beginning to warm to this victory, which Carlsson is trying to take away from him. There is Opland in 3rd place. Svan trying to get that 3rd place back again. It's going to be very, very close, right to the checkered flag. 2 battles going on simultaneously here at the Ingolmunster circuit. And Gunde Svan trying to get back into that top 3. Opland trying to present him, but there it comes. And Gunde Svan goes back into 3rd place. There is his teammate in 2nd, Ingvar Carlsson. Opland is down to 4th. But there is the checkered flag and victory for Jos Kuipers. And try as he may, Opland can do nothing about Svan, and he has to content himself with 4th.
Tremendous action. The crowd really warming to that win by Kuipers. On the bonnet of his car, there'll be a lot of his fans here because of his rally crossing around this area, and he's having a superb season. So confirmation of the A final results. Carlsson getting the better of Svan here in Belgium. No change in the leaderboard, but Kuipers actually is moving closer to Svan. Well, this is the big one. There's a heat haze down on the grid there. Hansen on the front row, Martin Schanche on pole position, and then Jean-Luc Pailler, we're on board with him, and alongside him Tommy Christopherson, we're on board with him in the Audi as well. And the back row of the grid, we've got Eklund and Jernberg. This is going to be some race.
Yes, and Schanche making a very good start, Peter, and Schanche it is who leads this one from Kenneth Hansen. Jean-Luc is into 3rd place, and it looks as though Per Eklund might be there in 4th, but we're riding with Jean-Luc in 3rd spot, but Martin Schanche already in front. Martin looking for his 2nd victory of the year, Kenneth looking for his 4th, and Jean-Luc looking for his 2nd victory. Surely it's going to be one of these 3 drivers who takes this one. And it is already 2 cars well clear. Where is Jean-Luc Pailler? We've lost Jean-Luc Pailler. There is our race leader. That is Martin Schanche leading this one from Kenneth Hansen. Those 2 cars seem to be a long way clear of the rest of the pack. And Kenneth Hansen getting very, very close indeed now to our race leader, Martin Schanche. He really is hounding Martin all the way around. He's up on the inside. Can he do it here? Can he pull up the inside? No, he can't. And Martin, using a new short-stroke engine, has taken victory. But meantime, back on the track, the two lads from Sweden are still at it. Tommy Kristoffersen and Per Eklund, they are literally side by side, and Tommy gets it. Tommy gets in front, and Per Eklund comes right in behind him, and as they go through the corner, oh, Eklund drifts across into Tommy Kristoffersen, and now Tommy is out of the race.
So confirmation of that result then. An excellent third place for Michael Jernberg, enjoying the champagne on the podium, along with Kenneth Hansen and Martin Schanche. So the leaderboard, not that many changes. You can see that Per Eklund has actually moved ahead of Will Gollop now, and Martin Schanche is getting closer and closer to Kenneth Hansen as the weeks go by. In 1 week's time, the circus moves to the Euro circuit in Valkenswaard in Holland. Make sure you join us there for European Championship Rallycross. Welcome to European Championship Rallycross, Round 8 in Holland, a country whose history is inextricably linked with the sea and water, of course. They've spent most of their history reclaiming land from the ocean and trying to keep the ocean out of their inland waterways through a fantastic system of lock gates and inland waterways. A lot of the pumping used to be done by the traditional windmills. Now they have modern windmills that they make electricity with. And here we are in the lovely little market town of Valkenswaard, quite close to the Belgian border. Water playing a part even in this rural setting. But it's not water power we're going to be looking at today, it's horsepower at the Euro circuit of Valkenswaard. And it's a circuit, Arthur, that the drivers seem to like.
Yes, it is, Peter, the first purpose-built rallycross circuit in Europe. We're watching the 1400 Cup cars here, and that is an accident which actually put Ilse Verreken out of the running for the rest of the weekend. So Will Gollop is now going to show us the proper way to go around the Euro circuit.
From the start, it's obviously away in first gear and right up to fourth gear into the first corner. That's about 110 or 115 miles an hour. Quite interesting with 4 other cars. Round the first corner in third gear, and we just snicked fourth gear for a little while into the second corner, and then down into the hairpin. We're right down to first gear. And we have second gear out of there, and third gear up to Daytona, which is the long drifting part of the circuit on the loop. And we hold third gear all the way around there, and sometimes we can carry on and come back onto the start straight in third gear, but sometimes we have to go to second gear. It depends quite what line we take and what else is happening. And then down into the chicane, we come through there in third gear, believe it or not. It's quite a quick chicane.
Is it a good place for overtaking?
No, it's never I don't think there are any good places for overtaking, but there are some places here that you can make a move, but it's difficult.
Well, there he is on the grid, second from the right. Pole position is on the left there behind the marshals. That's Kristoffersen. Schanche's alongside him. Arthur.
Yes, Schanche's going to get a good one here, I think, Peter, and Schanche it is. Everson coming up very strongly into second place. Oh, and there's a bit of a contact there, I think, between Jernberg and Everson. Tommy Kristoffersen has to spin to avoid it, and there is Jernberg in the sand trap on his side. And as you can see, the red flags are out.
Well, I don't know about contact there, you think. I've never seen much more contact than that, Arthur. Everyone's okay, so we can have a chuckle about it. But it was quite incredible. Everson came off the far right-hand side of the grid. Kristoffersen came off the pole position, which is the far left-hand side, and they both made a Jernberg sandwich of it, which is quite extraordinary driving, and I think Everson's probably got more to blame from that. If we get a chance to see it later, you can comment on it for us, Arthur. Meanwhile, that's my favourite car, that. You really bent it, you have, Mr. Kristoffersen. So let's have a look at this one more time from a different angle, Arthur.
There they come off the start line, and I think Everson moves over too quickly, you know. He moves over too quickly, and Jernberg just flicks him, and Michael Jernberg comes off worst of it all at the end. Another look at it from on board with Everson. Well, as you can see, Everson has gone very, very, very sideways there as Schanche gets away with it, and there is Tommy Kristoffersen just coming in on the right-hand side.
As we now move on to our Division 1A final. That's Gunde Svan. This is Gunnar Kittelsen. That is Eivind Opland, looking fairly confident. And the weather far preferable here today. That is Ludvigt Hunsbedt. There's Jos Kuipers. Jos Kuipers on pole position. And finally, the man who came here courtesy of winning the B final is Carlsson. Kuiper's closest to the camera.
And Kuiper's closest to a win, probably, Peter, as he comes away to lead this one from Opland's down in third place, sandwiched between the two Mitsubishis. We have got the leading escort Cosworth of Ludvigt Hunsbedt, then comes Gunde Svan, then Gunnar Kettleson, and Ingvar Carlsson completes the 6 cars as they come down the Blomqvist Straight for the first time. So this young man from the Netherlands here in front of a very, very large crowd at the Euro circuit. He's on home ground and looking for his hat-trick, because remember, although he did not contest the Irish round, he has won the last 2 that he did contest at Brands Hatch and last week, of course, at Ingelmunster in Belgium. So he's potentially on a hat-trick, having had to wait until this year before he even got his first victory. Hunsbedt in second place, Opland is in third, Gunde Svan is in fourth. Then comes Gunnar Kettleson and Ingvar Carlsson. That's the way they come through the chicane. And at the moment, there is no real positional change looking at all imminent. They're all going line astern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The big battle at the end of the order there may be between Carlsson and Gunnar Kettleson, as those 2 cars drop back a bit from Gunde Svan. But the Toyotas, seemingly, Peter, have been eclipsed this weekend, you could say.
Yeah, it's rather strange, really. They just don't seem to be on song. They're not quite suiting the circuit at all, but Kuipers isn't having that problem.
No, Kuipers is going on his way to victory here, I think. Ludvig Hunsbedt still in second place as they come down. It is still through the chicane. Jos Kuipers on his last lap now. In second place, Ludvig Hunsbedt, and Opland is another man who one would have expected to have seen ahead of that escort Cosworth. But Ludvig Hunsbedt really is putting in an inspired drive here this weekend, but not quite perhaps as inspired as this one of this young man, but in front of his home crowd. And it is Jos Kuipers, and looking very, very good. Jos Kuipers up into Jubilee Corner for the last time. There's a good scrap going on for second place. Opland is trying to make a Mitsubishi 1-2. Can he do it as they come up onto the banking of Daytona for the very last time? Kuipers can almost already see the checkered flag as we watch this battle for second place as it comes through Tarzan. And there is Kuipers, and he takes his hat-trick. Kuipers takes it on home soil. The Dutch crowd very appreciative of that, and it was, I think, Hunsbedt hanging on to second place. Opland was third, Gunde Svan was fourth, then came Gunnar Kettleson, and last but not least was Ingvar Carlsson.
Well, now then, Arthur, we've got a bit of a surprise here, because that result shows Hunsbedt wins. Jos Kuiper was excluded for a turbo infringement, and although he's appealing, if that exclusion stands, this is what the leaderboard looks like. No real change to the points, of course, but Eivind Opland still up top, Gunde Svan second, and Jos Kuipers made no impression if that exclusion still stands. But the crowd eagerly anticipating the big A final of Division 2. Hansen quietly anticipating his part in that. Jernberg looking well focused. Martin Everson sporting the cracked windscreen from earlier on today. Eklund just sorting out his cockpit, ready for a big battle. Still just forming up on the grid is Jean-Luc Pailler in the Citroën. And Arthur is going to tell you some stunning news about this man, Martin Schanche, on pole.
Yeah, on third runs, Peter, Martin Schanche went round in 2 minutes 32.821. That is the fastest time ever recorded for a qualifying heat here at the Euro circuit. He has broken his old track record established with the RS200 back in 1990. And now, having done that, he's going to try and demoralise the opposition further by winning this A final. And he's gone away with the short stroke RS2000 into the lead. Martin Schanche leads this one. In second place is Kenneth Hansen. Third is Martin Everson, going very well. Then comes Jean-Luc, Michael Jernberg and Per Eklund. And Kenneth Hansen knows really that with Martin winning last week, and if Martin can win today, Martin goes to his home round. The next round is in Norway, and he will be going there with the chance of closing in on Kenneth Hansen. So Kenneth must be desperate, I think, to try and get victory here this afternoon. And we are riding with the Citroëns. We're also riding with Martin Everson around this circuit. But Martin Schanche is the man who's showing us the way around. Martin Schanche it is leading this one, and it's going to be probably yet another victory for this man on what is probably his most successful circuit on the European Tour. Still in second place, Kenneth Hansen. There is Jean-Luc Pailler trailing behind Martin Everson. Jean-Luc down in fourth place. And if Martin Everson can keep this third place, it's surely going to be the best result ever in Europe for this very likeable young Norwegian. But it is Schanche still leading it. Hansen second, and begins to look as though Hansen's going to have to settle for second place here, Peter, I think.
Well, it's absolutely formidable, the driving. And if we'd seen that fastest lap where he broke the lap record, it's just so smooth, so controlled. And the power is so evident. He's got a real power advantage over the Citroens now.
He has indeed, and he said that if the new car isn't better than this one, he will continue to use this one. If the new car is better than this one, well, I think the Citroens have really got to try and pull something out of the bag. We shan't be seeing that new car, I don't think, at all this year. Martin will surely stick with this well-proven package, I would think, for the remainder of this year, because this is round 8, and after today, of course, they have to start dropping their lowest scores. But as they come through to the flag, it's Martin Schanche taking another victory then from Kenneth Hansen, and Martin lighting up his tyres there as he takes the victory, and Kenneth Hansen behind can see all of that smoke. But there is Martin Schanche, and, well, I think some ways a predictable victory.
Well, an exciting victory, although he did let Kenneth Hansen get a bit close just before they went across the line. And Iversen in third place, an excellent result for Martin Iversen. So Kenneth Hansen is still at the top of the leaderboard. Martin Schanche is 3 points closer. Jean-Luc Pailler is third. And he's been in that position a few times, Arthur, atop the podium. In Championship Rallycross, and here we are on the banks of the Drammenfjord. And the port of Drammen itself, once very important to the timber industry. Not much happening in that neck of the woods these days. But there's the old customs house. On the north bank of the Drammenfjord, there was a terrible fire in 1866. But on the south bank, we still have some of the original architecture around. And very attractive it is too. Not far away, just 40 kilometers west of Oslo, we find the circuit of Lyngås, called the Lyngås Motorbahn. And as you can see, the weather has deteriorated into something quite dreadful. Meanwhile, Eivind Opland is going to take us around this circuit, which has got a lot more tarmac than a lot of the other circuits. To be precise, it's 60% tarmac and 40% loose, and it's got a lot more ups and downs than a lot of the other circuits too. They head off from the grid straight down this top straight, and you can see it's very slippy, and there's a big steep hill coming down to this long right-hander, and then they're back on the loose again, and quite bumpy too. And in this sort of weather, of course, they're going to be dragging a lot of mud out from that loose section onto the tarmac, and you can see fairly twisty. Then they come up the hill, over the brow of the hill. The car goes very light indeed. They have to control it carefully around the right-hander. And then as they come back into the start-finish straight again, they go through a chicane that they didn't go through, here we are, when they first left the grid. Slows them down as they come back out onto that top section again, fast and straight. And that's a circuit of the Lyngås Motorbahn. Now then, Division 1A final on the front row of the grid. It's an all Mitsubishi affair, with Opland on pole and the Swede Wolfridsson alongside him. Then another pair of Swedes in their Toyotas, Svan nearest the camera, Carlsson alongside him. Kittelsen and Solström make up the rear end of the grid. There's Opland, who drove just in such a relaxed way. Alongside him, the Swede Stig-Olov Wolfridsson in another Mitsubishi, having a tremendous day out. We're on board with Opland, 4 Swedes, 2 Norwegians on this grid, Arthur.
Yes, and I can't help but think that the man on pole, Peter, is going to take this one probably. Opland there with the Mitsubishi, an all Mitsubishi front row, an all Toyota second row, and an all Ford Escort third row. You can't get it much fairer than that. So they're under starters orders now, and if Opland can take this one, it will be his 5th victory of the year, and of course it will enhance his position at the top of the points chart. He's obviously touching wood that it happens. Norwegian wood, of course. As they come away, it is indeed Opland going into the lead from Wolfridsson. Wolfridsson in second place. The Toyota's coming up behind him, then Solström, and completing the order is Gunde Kittelsen. We ride with Gunde Svan as they come down. The 2 Toyotas really ganging up on the second of the Mitsubishis and trying to force his way through on the inside. There was indeed Carlsson. Gunde Svan has gone wide. Gunde Svan's gone off and hit the bank. He rejoins, looking as cool, calm and collected as ever, but he has lost a lot of ground. So we go back to the lead, and it is still Opland leading this one. Carlsson is now second. Wolfridsson is in third place, flying high there, ahead of Solström, Kittelsen, and there is Gunde Svan in last position. Of course, Gunde Svan is the man who at the moment is lying second in the championship. He'll be really cursing himself for that one. Can he find his way back, Peter, do you think? Can he be as cool, calm and collected and really get back through the order?
Well, it's a much hotter situation up the front there, and I'll tell you what, Wolfridsson is really pushing hard. And that Toyota is going to, I think, see a Mitsubishi come sliding past it any minute.
Well, whether Wolfertson gets back into second place or not, one has to say this is a superb European debut for this young man from Sweden there in third place, and it looks as though Gunde Svan has indeed vanished, because we are now down to 5 cars only. There he is, you can see a tyre is down. Gunde Svan is in trouble. He must have knocked the tyre off the rim when he went off into the bank there, and there is Wolfertson going sideways and controlling it, but allowing Solström to come through. Well, that was tremendous stuff. Really brilliant to watch that way, to see Wolfertson drifting that car through the corner. He managed to control it, but he lost a position. He lost a position, and there you can see that Solström is moved ahead. But not for much longer, I think, as they come down towards us. The leaders having gone through. Solström under a lot of pressure from Wolfertson, and Wolfertson has been passed also by Kittelsen, but now he's fighting his way back. He's fighting his way back. Can he come back to it? And there's a tremendous battle going on behind these two lead cars. There is Opland leading it. We can see Carlsson is now still in second place. There's Opland. Carlsson in second. And who is going to be third? Don't know what Opland was doing then, waving to the crowd, I would think. Certainly nobody else to wave to, because there's nobody else near him. On his last lap, he feels he's really got it, but look at this battle here, and we can see that Wolfertson has indeed fought his way back to third. Kittelsen is fourth. Solström is fifth. There are the leaders through. Comes this battling duo back towards us. And can Solström pull anything out of the bag here? We got Kittelsen back. Kittelsen's back into third, but he goes wide. He goes wide, and Wolfertson and Solström come through, and Kittelsen goes back to the end of the order. Well, it may not have been too good up front as far as action was concerned, but it was all action at the end of it. And there, indeed, Peter, is indeed Opland coming through to take a victory.
Well, I don't know how good your maths are, Arthur, but he's jumping around inside his motor car, because Opland, I can tell you now, looking at the points, has won the European Championship. Gunde Svan, even if he wins all of the next races in the season, can only score a total of 142 points, and Opland has got, as you can see there, 147. This year's European champion. That's in Division 1, but in Division 2, there's the land of the midnight sun, a very beautiful setting for round 10 of the European Rallycross Championship, set amongst lakes and pine-clad hills, a beautiful leisure area, about 80 miles northwest of Helsinki on the road to Tampere, ideal for backpacking and holidaying. Watch out when you're driving at night for these elks. It's pretty much a case of the local fauna eating the local flora. Harmenlina is the name of the town, situated literally amongst all these beautiful waterways and very close to the center of the town, which is in fact the birthplace of the famous composer Sibelius, is the Rallycross circuit, and it winds its way around the ski jumping circuit, which when the snow comes here, of course, the Finns are world class at. Well, we've got a bit of an apology to make, because last week we said that Gunde Svan could no longer beat Eivind Opland, who therefore was going to be crowned the champion. But we forgot all about the young Dutchman Jos Kuipers, who hasn't actually raced at 2 of the events. So, Division 1, A final, Ludvigt Hunsbedt on pole. Alongside him, Eivind Opland in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. That's Lasse Solström. And a sideways look at the grid reveals a couple of Toyotas side by side there. Here's Arthur to call it for.
Hunsbedt it is, who is the early leader of one pole. Hunsbedt leads this one. Opland comes into second place. Solström is in third, under dispute though with Kuipers. Kuipers coming up into third, I think. Yes, Kuipers getting into third place. The Toyota's at the back of the order at the moment. And as they come away, it's Solström dropping back as he gets a big shunt there from Carlsson. Carlsson, I think it was, who hit Lasse Solström. And Solström drops to the tail end of the order and rejoins. It pays him to keep going, because you never know who else is going to drop out, so let's hope he can keep going. And he's faced with Opland coming in the opposite direction, so off camera Opland has had a problem as well. So who is in the lead of this one now? It's Ludvigt Hunsbedt. Kuipers is in the second place. There comes Gunde Svan. Carlsson is fourth. So already this is becoming a bit of a race of attrition, and we have Ludvigt Hunsbedt leading this one from Jos Kuipers. Gunde Svan in third place. Ingvar Carlsson fourth. There is Opland standing beside the track. I wouldn't think he's a very happy man. Oh, and the car is right in the middle of the circuit now. Are they going to allow the race to continue? Well, it certainly seems as though they are. Remember, this is a final. We're not worried too much about times in this one. If this was a timed qualifying heat, I think that race would have been stopped. But meantime, the leaders coming on their way. And now you can see Kuipers has destroyed his front suspension and steering. So Kuipers is out of this one. There's a pigeon-toed Mitsubishi coming towards us there. And there is our race leader. Well, there are not many of them left now. The two Toyotas coming through, with Carlsson still there in third place. A bit of a race of attrition, Peter, but it looks as though Hunsbedt's going to take it.
Yeah, fairly extraordinary leave in Opland's car out there. I wonder if he was just angry about something and parked it there hoping they'd restart the race.
It has happened in the past. It has happened in the past, but the organisers are not going to be swayed by that.
And it would have been interesting, of course, if Kuipers had managed to keep going and given Hunsbedt a run for his money. With Opland out of it, it would have made quite a difference.
Yes, my mind goes back to Finland a few years ago when another driver parked his car in the circuit, but I'm not going to mention too much about that because that's all history. Some people know who I'm talking about, won't they? But there is indeed Ludvigt Hunsbedt coming through. Ludvigt Hunsbedt with maybe Gunde Svan getting a little bit closer to him. And well, there, whoops-a-daisy, there we go, past Opland's parked car. Carlsson closing in a bit in third place. So Ludvigt Hunsbedt is going to take what perhaps will be his first true victory of the year. He won in Austria only to be excluded. He won in the Netherlands after Kuipers was excluded. But this is going to be, I think, a true victory for the man from Norway. But if Gunde Svan can do anything about it, Gunde Svan is trying as they come to the flag, but he can't do it. And it is indeed Hunsbedt who takes it.
Well, I think Gunde Svan has been taking magic pills or something. He won the B final. He very nearly won that A final. So good performance from him after a rather strange start, actually. His Division 2 B finals. And there we've got Per Eklund. And we'll also have Will Gollop here. There he is. Martin Iversen should have been in this event, but having blown up his turbo, he's taking no more part in the proceedings today. That's the BMW of Bengt Ekström, Swedish driver with the M3. There's Per Eklund in the office, as Arthur would say, and here is Arthur.
And it's a bit bumpy ride in the office as they come away into that first corner, and there's all door handing and bumping and boring going on, and it is Eklund who's come through with in second place. There is Will Gollop under pressure from Bjorn Skogstad. Skogstad just ahead there of Bengt Ekström with the BMW, with Anders Norstedt completing the 5 cars as they go around on lap number 1. Who is going to be our race leader? And it is Per Eklund with Will Gollop in close contention, and Skogstad coming up very strongly now in third place. All 3 of these playballs really justifying a place in the A final. Only one of them's going to take it, and it's Will Gollop coming through. Will Gollop comes through to lead it, but he's gone wide, and surely Eklund's going to get it back again, I think. Can he get it back? No, they are side by side. Yes, Eklund does get it back. Tremendous race going on here. Will Gollop really having a go once again. And look at Skogstad coming in, and there's 3 cars all fighting it out, and now Skogstad touches Will Gollop. Will Gollop gets very, very sideways, retains that second place. Eklund still leads it. Oh, yeah, this is really very, very close. This is surely the best race we've seen of the afternoon between 3 of the top guys, and it's Sweden, Britain and Norway, and it's Hammer and Tong, Subaru, Peugeot and Escort, and it is still Per Eklund leading this one very, very closely from very determined Will Gollop there with the Simon Burton Silk Lean car. He's there in second place, and it's Skogstad coming up very strongly in third place. You can just see that Ekström was there in fourth, and Will Gollop having another look for the lead. But oh no, Skogstad's come through to take second place from him. Skogstad's up now into second place. Will Gollop goes back into third and has dropped back several cars next. There is Ekström. Behind him is Anders Norstedt. A very interesting race. Lots of different types of machinery here, and it is Subaru leading Escort, leading Peugeot, leading BMW, leading Saab. And I think the BMW is in trouble with a lot of smoke coming from its car, but we concentrate on this very, very forceful race for the lead, which sees Will Gollop back in the thick of the action once again. Will Gollop right in there once again as Per Eklund still leads it from Skogstad and Gollop. There is really little to choose between them. Off loose, back onto the tarmac. Who is going to be in the lead next time they come through? And it is still Eklund, and it is Skogstad really hounding him all the way. Will Gollop is right in there with them once again. Over the brow they go, back onto the loose, and Eklund getting away a bit as Will Gollop comes back into second place. Gollop back into second place. Well, Will Gollop might not make the A final, but he'll surely know he's been in the B final, as will all of these drivers, and it's Per Eklund at the moment. Will Gollop is in second place. Skogstad is still third. Peter, this is tremendous stuff.
Oh, extraordinary stuff. I think Per Eklund has probably got a weight advantage now. He's lost half the body panels on one side of the car.
I wouldn't think there's a straight body panel on any of those three lead cars. The BMW is still going, and so is Will Gollop, but he's still looking for that lead. He's hounding Eklund all the way towards the flag. Skogstad's right in there as well. Well, this is tremendous stuff. I hope the A final is going to be an anticlimax after this one. But to live up to it is going to be very, very good indeed, as Per Eklund brings the Clarion Subaru Impreza through in the lead from Will Gollop's Peugeot, with Bjorn Skogstad right in there. You can see the bodywork on Eklund's car is all over the place. They're on their last lap, and it's Eklund still with the advantage from Will Gollop with Skogstad. Oh, this is tremendous stuff, and Skogstad, and they're almost three abreast as they go away from us, but it is Eklund who's going to get it. Eklund has got it. Per Eklund takes that one. Oh, what a race.
Well, that's what Rallycross is all about. A brilliant win by Eklund, who goes forward to third position. Well, this is the big one. Martin Schanche looking fairly relaxed there. This is Tommy Christopherson. He's had a great weekend. Michael Jernberg, Jean-Luc Pailler, and then making up the rear of the grid, dear old Kenneth Hansen. What an appalling weekend he's had, but he's on the back row of the grid there. And alongside him is Per Eklund, Arthur.
Yeah, Per Eklund with that long steering column in the Subaru Impreza, but it's Martin Schanche getting away. Martin Schanche going into an early lead. This could be his fourth consecutive victory. Tommy Christopherson in second place. Jean-Luc Pailler running over his front spoiler there. He's in troubles already, but it's Martin Schanche leading it from Tommy Christopherson. Up into third place has come Michael Jernberg. Fourth place is Kenneth Hansen. So Jean-Luc is out of the race effectively now. He can no longer do anything to help Kenneth Hansen. It's all down to see what Kenneth can do himself. He's got to really get into the top two if he's going to score points. He's up into third. Kenneth is into third place. Now, will Tommy Christopherson allow Kenneth to come up into second place? I very much doubt it. I very much doubt it. They're all still very close together, headed by Martin Schanche, Tommy Christopherson, Kenneth Hansen, Michael Jernberg and Per Eklund, all five cars in together. It's Ford, Audi, they go past the dead car there of Jean-Luc, and it's Ford leading of Martin Schanche, the Audi of Tommy Christopherson, the Citroen of Kenneth Hansen, the Escort of Michael Jernberg, and the Impreza of Per Eklund. But it's still Martin Schanche with the advantage as they come back towards us. Kenneth is in third place behind Tommy Christopherson as they come down this tight right-hander. Oh, and Eklund had come through into fourth place, and he's thumped Hansen. He has thumped Hansen effectively out of this race. Jernberg comes through in third, and there are really only three cars running now effectively. And there you can see Kenneth Hansen getting away again, but oh, look at that. Now, was that self-inflicted by Per Eklund, I wonder? This is Kenneth Hansen on his way. He's down in fourth place, Peter, but I don't think he's going to get any points out of this one.
Well, I was looking at that quite carefully, and Hansen looked okay. He was well clear of Christopherson. Per Eklund came past Jernberg and had so much power on, no way he could have stopped. He was very tight on the inside there and just took Hansen straight out, and I should think there'll be some questions asked about that later.
I would think there probably will be. But in the meantime, it's Martin Schanche, as I said, on his way to his fourth consecutive victory this year, and maybe his fifth European Championship title. Yellow flag's being waved there because of Jean-Luc's parked Xantia. And Tommy Christopherson really having the race of the year. This is the best result we've seen from Tommy Christopherson in a long time, and Martin Schanche is not getting away from them. Tommy is hanging on brilliantly there, and I have to say once again, I hope you get me tired of saying this, but once again a brilliant away from Michael Jernberg there in third place. Kenneth Hansen can only sit there in fourth and hope and pray that one of these three, or maybe all of these three lead cars would fall by the wayside. I don't think it's going to happen. That Tommy Christopherson really trying to help his fellow countrymen now, because he can help Kenneth Hansen if he can get past Martin Schanche. That would, of course, help them no end. But the two Swedes really hounding the Norwegian. But Martin Schanche, I think, is very much in charge of this one. And I think those yellow flags are causing them to bunch up once again. No overtaking, of course, under the yellow flag, and they bunch right up under the yellows there, which is keeping this race tight up at the front. Just the three cars effectively in it now. But Martin Schanche it is getting away a bit now as Michael Jernberg gets in that smoke stream, shall we say, of the Audi of Tommy Christopherson. But I think Tommy, even if he doesn't win this one, is going to be absolutely delighted to be on the podium at the end of it all. Michael Jernberg hanging on in third as they go to the flag, but Martin Schanche wins it.
Well, what a race. The circuit out there looks like a scene from Mad Max, with broken down cars smoking. It looks as if they've all been burnt out. So here we go with the results. Martin Schanche ahead of smiling Tommy Christopherson, Michael Jernberg third, Hansen hanging on to fourth. So how does that affect the leaderboard? Well, Kenneth Hansen has got to win the next two races. Now then, what about Schanche?
Was as safe as I could go because there's potholes there. We could
lose a Mini in them, and I didn't want to land in them potholes and buy myself a puncture, and which we've had. I mean, touch wood, I haven't had any punctures today, only because I've been driving careful.
Well done. Congratulations. The championship's not over yet, then?
No, it's not over, but it comes closer my way. Closer my way. All right.
The European Championship Rallycross Circus comes to the Czech Republic for the penultimate round, round 11. Beautiful countryside surrounding the capital city of Prague. This province once known as Bohemia, but you can see historic, wonderful architecture and a lot of atmosphere here. Well, about 80 kilometers north of Prague, we find the market town of Česká Lípa. An extraordinary contrast between the days when communism was here and the now beautifully restored buildings and the lovely traditional countryside. Quite a mixture of the old and the new here, as you can see, not only with accommodation but also on the roads. A beautiful top-of-the-range four-wheel drive Scorpio alongside the traditional old Skoda. We're going to be seeing a few Skodas here at the circuit of Sosnova. It's the first time that European Championship Rallycross has been run here in the Czech Republic, and it's quite an interesting contrast, isn't it, Arthur?
Yes, Peter, it is. I think they're going to find this circuit much, much quicker than some of the circuits they've been racing on this year. We're told this is a very fast circuit, probably faster even than Croft. May even rewrite the rule book regarding fast circuits.
Local entrants here will find the major name circuit quite an interesting addition to the motoring scene here. But one of the big points that I find so fascinating about the rallycross aspect is that whenever the big names visit a region like this, there's still an opportunity for local entrants to get involved in the sport. There's some of their motorhomes there, look.
Yeah. Yes, there's always a contingent of local drivers sort of boosting the entry list, and it's nice to see them out, and on occasions, of course, they do well.
Well, local knowledge of the circuit, of course, means an awful lot to them, and Sosnova, as you said, is a very fast circuit. This man, Martin Schanche, there's a lot up for grabs for him in these last two events. Welcome back to Sosnova in the Czech Republic. These are the big A finals, and there's a lot of action happening. Let's have a look at the grid first, and I'll tell you about the action in a minute. 107 is Jos Kuipers on pole position. The man here who probably, maybe, might get his championship title here is Eivind Opland. That's Hunsbedt, and alongside him, the first of the two Toyotas. Carlsson with the red flash on the windscreen, and Gunde Svan with the white flash. This is Svan, immaculately turned out, these Toyotas have been all season. And then at the back of the grid, look at this, there is Pavel Koutny, number 104, and a little irate, just up behind the grid is Becker, who has been excluded. We wondered whether he might do. This is the incident that led to it. Koutny up in front, and Becker late on braking, gives him a very hard shove up the backside. He spins out, and that is the incident. Quite rightly, I think, that caused the exclusion for Becker after.
Right, the lights up. Well, now was that a jump start, or was that a jump start?
Excitement there, the lights are red. The look on your face, the lights are red and they were away. We'll see who actually caused it. I think they all went together, didn't they? Well, yes, we can talk about this Becker thing. I mean, that was a bit outrageous, wasn't it?
I think they're right. I mean, some people might say, oh, well, you know, we've got Koutny here on his home soil, but no, I think the organisers were a fair decision there to do that. And it's nice to see that the organisers have got the guts to do that on occasions. They haven't. Right, let's see if we can get it right second time round. 3 red lights and 3 green. That's better. Here we go then. The Division 1 Group N A final, and it's Jos Kuipers leading it as the Toyotas come up to form a strong challenge, and it is Carlsson who's coming to second place. Carlsson and Opland disputing second place. Really disputing it. Hunsbedt drops to the tail end of the order, as we can see that Koutny's made a very good run. Koutny has got ahead of Hunsbedt at least, but it is Jos Kuipers getting away from them. There is Gunde Svan. Gunde Svan now surely into second place. Opland is third. Carlsson is fourth. And Gunde Svan, well, really, he gets a little bit of help there, I think, from the escort behind him, which really gives him a nice little push up the inside of Opland. So that was Carlsson. Yes, Carlsson moves up on the inside of Opland. Opland's dropping back. Opland is dropping back, but I don't think there's any way that Opland can be beaten in this race as far as the championship's concerned. I think he's going to do enough here, Peter, today to secure enough points to take the championship.
Well, you're the points man, but I have to point out that was superb teamwork from the two Toyotas, who really did just make life far too difficult for Opland.
Yeah, and it's Gunde Svan. Now, if... wait a minute, someone's dropped off there. That could have been Carlsson, I think. Was that Carlsson who dropped off? I think it might have been. Yes, if Opland wins the championship, which it looks pretty certain he's going to now, there's going to be a tremendous battle for the runners-up spot, and that is going to be between the two guys who are first and second in this race. There is Carlsson limping through with obviously de-arranged steering, I would think, a puncture or something of that on his car. He's certainly just cruising round, which is more than can be said for this guy, because this is Jos Kuipers looking for a victory, and Gunde Svan there in second place. Opland is happy in third, I think. Opland is happy in third. Hunsbedt is, I think, back to fourth place. As the VIPs watch from the comfort of their lounge, we can see that indeed Opland is still third. There is Hunsbedt still ahead of Koutny. Yes, he's ahead of Koutny. This is looking very, very good for Jos Kuipers at the moment.
What would have happened if he'd contested all the rounds in this championship, Arthur?
Well, I think he could have won it. And, of course, also the really ironic thing is he's been excluded from his home round in the Netherlands, which he won on what we are told was a turbo infringement on the car. So, really, I mean, again, no favours coming from his home country, which indeed, of course, there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. If he was excluded, he should have been excluded. And once again, I'm delighted to see that the powers that be are standing by their decisions and making the correct decisions. And the correct decision here is, of course, that we've got Jos Kuipers up front as Opland comes in to have a little bit of a look on Gunde Svan. I think the Norwegian is quite content to circulate there in third place behind the Dutchman and the Swede. And the big battle at the moment is between these two escort Cosworth pilots, with Norway's Ludvigt Hunsbedt still holding the advantage. The 1993 champion, of course, in this category, Ludvigt Hunsbedt. Reigning champion at the moment is Richard Hutton, but not for much longer, because that yellow car is going to come through and clinch it in just a few moments' time, because they're on their last tour of this Czechoslovakian Republican circuit. And this is the last time we'll see the Group N cars in this particular transmission. And Jos Kuipers knows that he's got it, and he comes through to take victory.
So we're going to have a look at that first corner incident after the start from the grid. And here you can see Carlsson on the outside, Opland being squeezed with Gunde Svan right behind him, and Pavel Koutny bringing up the rear, and you can't get more door handling than that. So Jos Kuipers celebrating his win here at Sosnowa in the Czech Republic, and quite rightly so. Looking forward to next season, I should think. I certainly am. He's added a bit of spice, and what a consistent performance, really. Now let's have a look when Carlsson went off, and he went down into your swamps over the back there. Managed to get back, but he got himself a puncture on the way, just went a bit wide. So here are the results of that A final. Kuipers from Svan, Opland third, Hunsbedt fourth. And the leaderboard looks like this, with Eivind Opland 149 points to Gunde Svan's 131. He is confirmed as this year's European Rallycross champion. Well, we've got another championship to be decided, and that's for Division 2 between the slightly battered and spattered looking Hansen mobile. They've been doing a lot of work on that engine. Let's see whether they've sorted that one out. Schanche has got to be the favourite, I would have thought. Arthur, he's got so much power under his bonnet, and this circuit must favour him.
Yes, I think so, Peter, and of course victory in the preceding rounds has really got him on a high at the moment, and everything's looking very, very good for Martin Schanche, and if he wins this one today, then he's the champion, and that will be 5 championship titles he's taken in Europe. And that will equal Matti Alamäki, and it will equal Kenneth Hansen, who've also both won 5 European championship titles in their time.
Well, they're clearing up a bit of oil off the grid there, and I can just keep talking through the grid for you while they're doing that. We've got Eklund and Gollop on the second row, Jean-Luc Pailler and Martin Iversen on the rear row. The engines are starting to rev, and I hand you over to Arthur.
And it looks as though Schanche's got the jump as they go away, has he? We are riding on board with Will Gollop as we go away, and there it is, Martin Schanche coming up the inside. He goes very, very wide, and is Hansen going to come through and take the advantage? Has Kenneth Hansen coming through to take the lead? Tremendous. No, it was Martin Schanche. How he held that, I shall never know, but Eklund has got through into second place, and he's really having to fight to retain that second place, but Per Eklund is indeed in second, but what a start from Schanche, and how he controlled that car through that first corner, Peter.
Well, it was extraordinary. He got right out onto his own personal bit of loose, which was not on the circuit at all, and he just hung on and hung on. Exciting stuff from Mr. Rallycross as always. Kenneth Hansen now being chased by Jean-Luc Pailler, trying to get past Per Eklund, but Eklund seems to love this circuit. He's done so well here today.
He has done well here today, and this is looking for a good result for Per Eklund, which is more than be said for Kenneth Hansen, but Kenneth has got to give it everything. Kenneth has got to win this one to keep his championship hopes alive. Anything other than victory here today for Kenneth Hansen, and the man you're looking at the moment will become the 1995 European champion in this category, I have to say. We're riding on board now. You know who that is, don't you, for the length of the steering column. That, of course, is Per Eklund. This is Kenneth Hansen, trailing him around the circuit at the moment. Kenneth coming up to challenge the Impreza now, really trying to get that ZX in there with a chance. The two Swedes having a tremendous battle. They're not that far away from Martin Schanche. See Jean-Luc playing a rearguard action there. He'll make certain sure that nobody gets by him to challenge Kenneth Hansen, because we know that Jean-Luc is here today to try and help Kenneth win the championship for Citroën to take their third consecutive European Championship title, which Jean-Luc took 2 years ago with the VX, which Kenneth took last year with the ZX, and Kenneth is still down there in third place though. Martin Iversen comes through. Martin Iversen through there. Will Gollop down in last position, unfortunately, at the moment. Will Gollop really has dropped well back now. The battle really is for second place, and Kenneth Hansen's not really having the best of days. Kenneth still sitting there in that third spot, behind the Impreza of Per Eklund.
Well, he must know. It must be awful feeling inside him as he's driving here. Eklund, there's no way he's going to be able to challenge Schanche.
No.
But as I say that, he's making a move.
He is, he's having a go. He's just got to hope that he can get by here and that something untoward might happen to Martin's car, but at the moment there's no sign of that. He's having a look up the inside there, but no, I don't think he did it. I don't think so. They're on their last lap, and Kenneth is still in third place. Jean-Luc is still keeping Martin Iversen at bay down there in the fourth place. Martin Schanche still leads it though, and this looks like Martin, who's won more European Rallycross events than anybody else competing in the series, as we see Kenneth Hansen come around. It is on fire. Kenneth's car catches fire just as he was about to get round the outside of Per Eklund, and Kenneth gets out of the car. He's abandoned the car. Oh, what a sorry sight.
Well, it's extraordinary. This is round 11, and the excitement still keeps coming by the bucket load, and they're going to need a bucket load. There's the flag. Schanche wins it. He's the new champ. Extraordinary stuff.
Yeah, and there's nobody near that car. Where are the fire marshals? Where are the fire marshals? Kenneth is, he looks out in despair. Not only has he lost the championship, he's probably lost his motor car. Just look at that. Oh, what a sorry sight.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So Kenneth Hansen says he's okay, but look at the car. Some sort of serious fuel problem. And there's Susan Bergvall.
Yeah, he's okay.
So let's have a look at the first corner when the Schanche incident happened. He got onto the grass, and he and Hansen were side by side. He was very, very sideways. Kenneth Hansen can only look on, wondering how he's going to rebuild that car in time. Meanwhile, the new European Rallycross champion rewriting the history books yet again. And this is the view that most of the competitors this season have had of Martin Schanche. For the final round of the 1995 European Rallycross Championship, the circus rolls into Buxtehude in Germany. It's about 40 kilometers southwest of Hamburg, with a very different situation here. Just celebrating the Harvest Festival. Quite a touristy sort of region, really, and some lovely traditional architecture as well as beautiful countryside. And very close to the countryside, we have the River Ester here, which is why the name of the Rallycross circuit is Esterring. Beautiful woodland and farmland, and right in the middle of it is 941 meters of Rallycross circuit, 60% tarmac, 40% on the loose. They love their Rallycross here despite the weather after, don't they?
They do indeed, Peter. This, of course, is the traditional home of the final of the European Championship these days.
502 is Beck, and then we have Buna closest to the camera. Thank you.
Yeah, Jos Boone has been a great sensation in the latter stages of this championship. Let's see what he can make of this one, but who is going to be in front? And it is indeed Jos Boone, surely, I think, who's got it. Jos Boone coming down towards us first. Koutny's coming up strongly, though. Ko is up into second place. Koutny in second place. Where is Manfred Beck? The field streams through. That's the CAS team, the supporters of Koutny. He's in second place. Manfred Beck is behind him. Manfred Beck is behind him, so that means that stay like this. Koutny there in second place, behind his fellow countryman. Jean-Michel Laurent there in third place. Manfred Beck is fourth. That's the way they come through. We've also got Boacek and Novotny from the Czech Republic in this one, and another Dutchman, Joe van der Ven, is in there as well. But Manfred Beck drops behind Jean-Michel Laurent. He gives Michel Laurent a bit of a nudge as they come out of the tight hairpin. He knows he's got everything to do there. He's behind Koutny. He's got to get in front of Koutny. He's trying everything he can to get past Jean-Michel Laurent, and I think he's achieved it. He's in front now of Jean-Michel Laurent. I think he is. Yes, he's right in there. Now there's the battle, Peter, the two cars together.
Well, extraordinary. If I hadn't known better, I'd have thought that Koutny would paid Jean-Michel Laurent some money to keep Beck away, but it didn't work, and he's right on his tail. But the championship goes to Koutny.
Yes, and to the Netherlands, and he is the first Dutchman to win a category in the European Championship since 1975, when Case Sterlings took his Porsche-powered VW Beetle to victory at Linden Hill.
Well, they are thrilled, aren't they? And quite deservedly too. Jos Boone then wins that race, but the main race really was won by Koutny. Manfred Beck third, Jean-Michel Laurent in fourth place. Let's have a look at the championship, how it worked out. Can't get closer than that, just 4 points in it. Pavel Novotny was in third place and Laurent in fourth place. Susan Bergvall ended up fifth, but sadly is going to retire. Division 1 then, A finals. We've got Carlsson over the far side, we saw there, and Hunsbedt. Jos Kuiper's nearest the camera here. Opland opposite him, and bringing up the rear of the grid, we've got Becker and Svan.
Well, this, of course, the battle for second place in the championship here between Jos Kuipers and Gunde Svan. Whichever one gets to the flag first, I think he's going to take that. And it is Carlsson who leads it, though. Ingvar Carlsson leads it. Looking for his first victory in Europe on the anniversary of his first appearance in the European Championship. But there's a big barging and door handling match going on as they come out from that corner. And who has come away to lead it? Who indeed? It is indeed Hunsbedt. Ludvigt Hunsbedt leads this one. Jos Kuipers is in second place. Carlsson is third. Solstrom has come through into fourth place. No, I beg your pardon, it's Opland there in fourth place, isn't it? Opland, yes, in fourth place. The new champion. Behind him is Gunde Svan, then comes Jan Becker. As Carlsson forces his way, or tries to force his way past Jos Kuipers. Jos Kuipers having none of it. Kuipers is continuing along there in that second position, and that's going to be surely good enough to give him the runners-up spot in the championship and make it a 1-2 for Mitsubishi. Although the Toyota team are doing everything they can to prevent that from happening. But it isn't the Toyota in front that needs to be in front of that pair, because it's Carlsson in front of his teammate Gunde Svan. But this looks a little bit like we could see a man on his way to another victory here this afternoon. The former European champion in this category, Ludvigt Hunsbedt, a man who for so many years was faithful to BMW, moved over to the Ford Escort when the Group N category came in, and took the European Championship in this category. The first year it was for Group N.
And there's a black flag out there, I don't know whether you noticed that, and that, yes, it was for Carlsson, and that was for ramming literally into the side of Kuipers, and quite justifiably, I think.
I think so, yes. Carlsson is on the receiving end of that, and so now we've got Opland in between. Now, this is interesting again, Peter. We've got Opland in between the two guys who are trying to battle it out for the runners-up spot. Now, Opland is obviously going to try and stop Gunde Svan getting past and going up to challenge Kuipers. That's if he's got the power to do it. I don't really think he's got the grunt to do it at the moment. Jan Becker completes the order. So it's beginning to look like a victory in the last event of the season for the Escort Cosworth. It's going to go out of 1995 with a bang. But it's going to be the Mitsubishis, I think, that are going to take 1-2 in the championship. And there they are in the reverse order to what they will finish in the championship. And as long as they keep that Gunde Svan car behind them, it's going to be good enough for the Netherlands driver to get second position. And so it really is a very, very good season for the Dutch drivers. Nearly taken 2 championships, but not quite. The first and the second is certainly a renaissance of rallycross in the Netherlands. It really has come good very, very much this year. Nice to see countries coming back, Peter, isn't it, that haven't had a very successful period.
Especially when they've got a great venue like Volkswagen. I mean, you know, we've seen some fabulous rallycross and some great national championship action there as well. So on the international scene, it's good to see them back over.
It is. They've been in the forefront of European Rallycross, of course. Basically was the first country ever to host Rallycross outside of the United Kingdom, where it all started about 28 years ago. And it's really caught on all over Europe. I think it's the greatest motorsport there is, but then perhaps I'm biased, I don't know. But there we have a former European champion, Ludvigt Hunsbedt, coming through, and it looks as though Ludvigt's going to take a victory here this afternoon, which is going to move him up the point chart quite noticeably. But there is a rather disconsolate Krista Boland team. Krista there standing in the front row. They're not going to get the runners-up spot, I don't think. The way this goes, they're going to be running a car in each division next year. Remember, Gunde Svan is moving up to the supercar category. Ingvar Carlsson will stay in this one. And the way that Ingvar Carlsson is being performed towards the end of the season, well, who knows, it could be their year next year. They certainly, yeah, oh, sorry, Peter.
That's what I was going to say. It looked like Opland just giving him a gentle, playful little nudge up the back there, saying, come on, what are you hanging about for?
You know, I think Opland is determinedly staying behind him. I think Opland could challenge, but he knows that that could put Jos Kuipers out of the race or behind him, and he could come under a threat then from Gunde Svan. And I'm sure, as I said at the start of the programme, that Opland has probably played a rearguard action here to ensure it's a Mitsubishi 1-2, and that is what it is in the championship.
Well, another thing that's just starting to worry me before we go on to the A final is that it's got very, very dark on the circuit, and the rain has held off. But let's have a look at the A final result for Division 1 there. And the rain has held off, and it would be very sad if it rained actually on our parade, so to speak. There's the championship confirmation, Opland from Kuipers from Svan. So you were right there. And Jos Kuipers, watch out for next season. Lining up then for Division 2, the A final. Kenneth Hansen with a lot to prove on song today. The engine going better than it's gone for ages. Alongside him, Schanche, who said in the press, I am going to go out there and give it my max as I always do. So it'd be good to see him and Hansen side by side. Jean-Luc Pailler is on the second row of the grid. Alongside him is that very fast starter of the day, with that view of Schanche's car, Eklund. And then the rear of the grid, Kristoffersson there by virtue of his tremendous driving. And alongside him, Michael Jernberg. The last Division 2 A final of the season, and it really says it all just looking at the grid.
It does, Peter. The last race of the season, and a high-quality grid it is. 6 drivers all thoroughly deserving to be in there. And as the lights turned to green, it looked as though Kenneth Hansen had to run into that first corner, and indeed he did. Kenneth Hansen leads this one from Martin Schanche. Jean-Luc is in third place, but very, very sideways. Per Eklund is fourth, then comes Tommy Kristoffersson. Oh, and Schanche is out. Schanche onto the bank. I think he may have had a little bit of assistance in that, but Martin Schanche is out, effectively out of the race. Even if he gets going again, he's certainly not going to be up there challenging. And now it's all looking rather good, and it's a Citroen 1-2 at the moment.
Well, we're going to have this rear guard situation again here. If it's necessary, Jean-Luc Pailler will be there, protecting the back of his Citroen counterpart.
That's right, and of course this is what he was intending to do towards the end of the season when he knew he couldn't win the championship himself. He wanted to do everything he could to make it a hat-trick for Citroen in the championship. That hasn't happened. There's the guy who's won it, who is characteristically moving the car just as the rest of the field go past.
Reversing out into the front of Kenneth Hansen. And I'm wondering, looking at the bodywork again on Jean-Luc Pailler, I know he damaged it a little earlier on, but I'm wondering if he had anything to do with Schanche's exit there.
Might have been, there might have been, who knows, but it's Eklund in third place, so it's Citroen, Subaru, and then it's Audi. And there's not a Ford in the top 4 at the moment. As I said, we look like we could have as many as 10 manufacturers involved in this championship next year. If Volvo come in, Opel come in, Toyota move into this category as well. It's going to be really fabulous. I'm getting excited about it already. And we hope that we're going to be able to show you the best of the action from the European Championship next year. But we're watching the best of the action of 19 and 95 here. And there is the outgoing champion. He's going to end the championship season with a vengeance here. Kenneth Hansen is going to go out with victory, I think, as he brings the immaculate Shell Oils Citroen Sweden ZX 4x4 Turbo through to go into the start of another lap. Jean-Luc in second place with the Xantia, the car that some people said was too big, it will never work. But by heavens, he certainly made it work. And what would Rallycross be these days without Per Eklund there with that Impreza? That is such a spectacular motor car. Great to have such an international star in our sport. And I think, Peter, it's been a great season, don't you?
Well, it's been changeable. This is what's been so interesting. You've seen people developing the cars and moving up, and other people dropping back and becoming less competitive. We've seen people swapping engines, whether it be Will Gollop or whether it be Tom Christopherson. At various stages, things have been in and out. And come the end of the season, they've just really set the scene for next year.
They have. My personal disappointment is, of course, that we can't get better budgets for the British drivers. I can name you a lot of young British drivers who I'd love to see out here doing justice for this. If Volvo would like to contact us, we can give them some names of British drivers you can put in their 850 who would do it great credit, I can assure you of that. I would love to see that, but let's get British industry putting their hands in the pockets and getting behind the British drivers and getting a British champion back one day, hopefully, which Will Gollop, of course, has previously taken, as has Richard Hutton. But we're watching the closing stages of the climax of the European Championship for 1995, and it's Kenneth Hansen coming through then, surely to take the last victory of the season. He's going to go out in style, no doubt about that. Jean-Luc looks as though he's going to make it a Citroën 1-2. Behind him, the Impreza and the Audi are challenging all the time. They can't find a way through. The Swedish flags are being waved, and they sense that it's three Swedish drivers there in the top four today. I think they're coming up to lap somebody. That could be Michael Jernberg, who's going fairly slowly around the circuit. Yet another Swedish driver. There's Michael Jernberg coming through. He's going to keep well out of the way, because behind him comes his fellow countryman to take the Czech flag. And the last victory of the season, the Citroën 1-2, Subaru third, and Tommy Christopherson fourth with the Audi.
And he hasn't hit anything, he's just done a bit of wheel spinning there. Those tyres have no further use this year. And look at the reception he's getting. So here we have the confirmation of those results, as we saw them really, with Martin Schanche parked on the verge. So the end of the season, the championship sees Schanche ahead of Hansen, Jean-Luc Pailler in third place, Per Eklund in fourth, Will Gollop fifth, and Tommy Christopherson in sixth place.